Say fuck or bugger.
Yeah, don't say fuck or bugger.
It's like, you hear the accent,
bugger. I hope that did well.
it's a disconnect, man.
It's a terrible game and you should feel ashamed of yourself.
It's actually pretty good, to be honest. You just have to close your eyes when you're talking to people.
Oh, Shredder's Revenge is on sale. I saw the email. That's supposed to be a good game, isn't it?
Behind the Dune is a better game than that. And that's straight up a porn game of Dune.
I'm really glad that the audience got to find that out. We're going to do a review of Dunk 2. Dunk 2's been pushed back again, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I actually want to see how they finish that. I know we're totally shitting over the fucking intro and it's gonna.
Yeah.
It's all right. Nobody likes the intro anyway.
It's called a warm open, isn't it?
Well, we're going into this, gently and wet, like Fernando does in Emotion FM. Because the music should give you emotion. I, Fernando, the great lover of women, welcome you.
Is that Fernando from Vice City?
Yeah, but he's also he appears in later GTA games as well.
Oh, does he?
I love Fernando. He's my favourite of the Just you know what, guys, we have got a great show line.
Funny, weren't he?
Yeah, Laszlo did all the writing for the GTA stuff, but Fernando is my favourite. I think after today's show, I'm just going to listen to Emotion FM and have Fernando make love to you. But yeah, fucking hell. It's just... Fernando is but sometimes he is too passionate. And that's why he's had 5 divorces.
That's from Vice City. I know that's from Vice City.
Oh, yeah. So, well, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it? I mean... Yeah. A lot's been happening with the. I'm just going to go straight and say it. The Tanit Revival Ritual. The funny thing is, I started off this week.
Jesus Christ, no!
I started off this week.
Did you get that? That's a Wicker Man reference. Did you see the Wicker Man was in? Did you see the Wicker Man was in cinemas recently?
No,
Isn't it like the 40th anniversary?
There's a new cutout. I think there's a new cut and it's been restored as well. I think.
I've got a mate. Let's not use his real name, so let's call him Dave.
Oh, hold on! Before we do that, coming out soon. There's what's it? There's doing a film of Jeff. Do you remember Jeff, the Talking Mongoose Hobbit, or Geff?
Geff, yes, Geff, as he's known to the true Geff appreciators.
Geff.
Simon Pegg's in it.
From Mass Effect.
It's not a GIF. It's a GIF. It's an animated GIF.
GIF. It's a GIF and a Jeff. It's not a GIF and a GIF. It's not a GIF and a Jeff. It's a GIF and a GIF and a.
It's not my name.
Say that really fast.
I can't. I I just stumbled all over it.
Guess what? I've got a phone call. One moment, please.
Oh, Hobbit's gone.
Is that a bit, or is that?
Is he doing a bit?
No, I don't know.
He's not doing a bit. He's gone.
He's actually on the phone. All right, now. You want to do your burning.
Hobbit knows more about Burning Man than I do. We can start with the preamble about that woman that got arrested. Did you see that video? Did you see that video where the tribal police? They're expecting like normal coppers. Hobbit's got an order. He's an Uber driver and his Jag says alphabet cat. So they expected the old softly. Hold on, we're part of the system. Although we're pretending to protest against it. Tribal cops said, "Yeah, but we're tribal cops. That doesn't. We don't care about your agreements with the system.
This is our land."
Oh, one of the cops gets his woman, grabs her by the arm, knee in the ribs while she's on the floor. She makes quite the fuss, and he's not messing around. They take no prisoners. Fucking Hobbit. But Hobbit said, didn't he? He said, he says to all his mates, he says, ring me any night you want but Thursday. And he said they always ring him on a Thursday.
Maybe if he said like Wednesday.
Yeah, ring me on a Don't ring me on a Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yes.
So, anti-capitalist. Imagine Burning Man's got to be. It's got to be like. It's got to be like Glastonbury, isn't it? Like the most commercial thing you can think of.
Yeah, it is. It's a left-wing hippie. From what I remember, back in the good old days of 2008, when I first encountered it, was like it's a hippie thing.
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it. I know they have like the big Jesus
bonfire.
Christ no in the middle, don't they?
Yeah, they burn a man, and it's about spiritual fucking. It's probably about like two-spirited, like who's your furry spirit animal.
Yeah. So anyway, these lot abolish capitalism.
Is it just when it's Thursday it's all ring up Hobbit Day?
I was just discussing with Frank.
Tell
them don't ring you on a Wednesday.
Don't ring me on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's serious. Like, okay, I've told my friends, but this time it was my dad ringing me up, and it's like, I haven't told him. I do this show where I talk about ghosts, but racistly.
Yeah. I'll talk about spooks, but not that kind.
Yeah, well, he was saying, "Oh, not this flat Earth nonsense," and I didn't say to him. Well,
is he not a believer, Hobbit? You should.
Well, I said.
Hold on. I've got to say, when we're talking about flat Earth, it's 100 years since Charles Fort's difficult second book came out, Strange Lands, and apparently it turns out in that Charles Fort is based, and he is a flat earther.
Yeah.
Well, look, I've got a very simple thing, and I know
everybody was until about 1930 for some weird reason. It seems like.
I know this.
Go back.
I know this seems to upset a lot of people, but the fact is, Jesus and God told us that here's the earth I've created for you. You're my children. You are my chosen. You're the custodians of this realm. And I've created a firmament to divide the waters above from the waters below. So God told us what the shape of the earth is, and then you get all these Satanists, or globalists as they call themselves now, who try and divorce you from it. Say, well, you're just random happenstance, evolution.
As we always say, Satan did offer Jesus the kingdoms of the earth, didn't he?
Jesus offered the kingdoms.
No.
Yes,
Satan.
that's right.
In the desert.
He was taken to a high place where he could see all the kingdoms of the world. But yeah, it's.
There is some interesting things about that. That might have been like the Black Rock.
We'll get onto that with the current festivities. Yes, okay. for sure. But we were told what our world is and what our place was. We are sacred beings created in the image of God, but there are very evil people who want to divorce you from that.
The most intriguing part for me about Flat Earth is the fact that it's all designed to get us further away from God, and that's the bit I buy the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that and evolution, Earth being a globe and evolution are very, fundamental things.
They're also very new. Evolution was written by Charles Darwin 100 years ago or less.
1850, so 57 or something.
On the origin of the species, yeah. Funny enough, there's this guy called Jeff Buys Cars, and I think it might have been Alphabet Cat or Interdimensional Lizard who told me, you should watch this guy called Jeff Buys Cars. He talks about cars, but other things which you're interested in. And even he was saying, he didn't explicitly say flat Earth, but he says, have you noticed, the things they tell you in school right at the beginning, those are the fundamental lies.
Jeff had a good video today, lots of woo-woo. It must be interdimensional, because he's just mentioned him.
Right, yeah. That. Alphabet Cat's hitting the nail on the head. The missing link fossils. A very simple thing. Now, my dad does believe in this.
What does he mean?
Says,
they're walking around? No, I best not say that.
He says, no, my dad says evolution's a load of bollocks, because if you've got something that is like a proper different species, the thing about it is, all right, let's say you've got... It
takes a very long time.
You've got a mutant offspring which has changed significantly, so it's not compatible with the parents. Right, so you've got one mutant offspring. What's it going to reproduce with?
The thing is, they look at adaptation and they tell you it's evolution, don't they?
Yeah, but you're not going to get, like, unless you, like, simultaneously have a breeding pair, and it's like, great, now what are the children going to breed with? The parents or themselves, whether it's going to be incest. That interspecies evolution does not exist. Look, it's really simple. We're all created. We're all children of God. We're all God's creations. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can be at peace with yourself and the world, and just accept that. Look, you got to get right with God.
Well, some people like Klaus Schwab think they're more important than God, and there's a shortcut to being him, and don't they?
There's a lot of people like Klaus Schwab, and they tell you it's very important to believe in globe Earth. It's very important to believe in evolution.
I don't think it's the Klaus Schwabs we should be worried about. It's the people like the people pulling his strings are the people we should be worried about.
Well, again, he's just like a public figurehead for all this Satanism. Yeah. So yeah, you're right in that regard.
Space Satanism. Him in his fucking Star Trek uniform.
Yeah, well, or the Raelians for that matter. I mean, that's space Satanism.
Yeah,
we'll have to revisit both the Moonanites of South Korea and the Raelians, because there's some proper woo in this world.
Well, that was quite interesting. We did the other week, weren't it? What was that? What was the woo group we did? Like the Scouts,
the Raelians?
No. I can't remember. The Plinky Plonks, whatever they were called.
Oh yeah, the totally not racist society of Mamsel.
They were like common purpose types, weren't they?
Yeah. Why can't I remember the name? They're very much sort of like Bilbo Baggins-esque, weren't they?
Yeah.
Which I feel like as a hobbit, I disavow the actions of this group that we just did, and I can't remember.
They're more like what's his name, aren't they?
I don't know. Oh, I'm going to do... Well, yeah... Greta Thunberg's a golem, isn't she? I need to do some podcast ASMR.
The Kibbo Kift, that was it.
So that's the... Yeah.
And the Order of Lazarus, you wanted to talk about them as well, didn't you, the other week?
Oh, right, yeah. How was I supposed to remember a name like Kibbo Kiff? I mean, that's just one of those...
I called them the Plinky Plonks, because the way I'd remember that name.
It's one of those made-up nonsense words like Nanu the Nook or the Jabberwocky. It's just, it's...
Jabberwocky.
The Moomins.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, that's
the Clangers.
The Moomins were based. Where are they from? They're like Scandinavian, aren't they?
Finland.
Are the Moomins just the Finnish version of Clangers?
No, they were different. And then they did that cartoon which kind of lost its charm and it weren't as good.
Are the Clangers related to the Wombles?
No, because the Clangers live on the moon, aren't they? Don't they? Unless they really, really fell out with them. With the Wombles.
But what I'm saying is, what if there was like an exodus?
I can imagine the Flumps are some sort of evolutionary side track of the Wombles.
I think the Wombles
don't they mess around with junk as well? The Flumps. Do you remember the Flumps?
I think. No, I didn't see that, but I reckon that the Wombles are just the pastoral equivalent of the Clangers. But if you consider the way the Clangers live, they're very pastoral.
Look at a picture of the Flumps, and I think they're a side, because I think they messed around with junk.
1980s Polish stop motion.
Yeah, that's the one I grew up with. Have you seen the Flumps? I bet.
The 1980s stop motion version of the Moomins was the best one.
Yes,
apparently.
That's the one I'm talking about. Because then there's like an anime version of it, which is a bit weird.
Is it anime? No, the old cartoon one. That's not from the 80s, is it?
No, there's an old version in the 80s. It was like, I'll find a picture of the 80s Moomins and I'll show you.
The one I really liked was Trapdoor. God, that was horrible.
Bert, feed me.
Feed me. Oh, but it's not just that. Oh, okay, I've never seen the Flumps. No, I'm looking at them now.
Oh, you've never seen the Flumps?
The thing which was really spooky about Trapdoor was the ambient noise in the background.
It looks like there's shipping in the Moomins now. Moomin Troll looks like he's snogging the other thing. Who's the one in the green? I can't remember his name.
It's not a Rule 34 Moomins, is it?
I don't know. I don't even want to know.
It's just the Kuma's reach is far and sticky. I apologise to our radio listeners, and if you have an imagination, I apologise for putting that.
That's the Moomins. That's the Moomins from like the 80s. In general.
Yeah.
It had real charm to it.
What, like the Clangers?
No, the Moomins.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just thinking the Clangers were really good, and then the BBC remade it, and I thought, it's got potential. It's got one of the Pythons as the narrator, but it just
Count Imagine you quite funny. Ducky Boo.
Oh, I never really liked Count Dracula. I was saying about it, just found very boring. But the thing about all Oliver Postgate stuff is he had a real charm and he understood his audience.
Do you remember Ivor the Engine? That was like ASMR, that was.
Bagpuss, Sadpuss, Fat Old Catpuss.
Yeah.
No, I really like the Clangers because there was heart music in it. And
have you ever watched that Birdie? That got fucking dark, that did. About the doll's house. And then about season 2, Birdie burns down the doll's house and it kills Mr. Plantagenet's wife. That used
I used to watch the Czechoslovakian version of Alice in Wonderland with my nan and my uncle because it was absolutely horrific, but my nan liked it because it had all these Victorian dolls and stop motion animation. It's horrible. I watched it like in my 20s and I'm like, this is fucked up.
Yeah, but you see, when I was a kid, we got subjected to Czech animation all the time because it was. And now on BBC Two, we've got a little bit of time left over, so we're just going to put on an animation from Czechoslovakia, and it's just like squiggly lines dancing around and people going ah.
Yes, yeah. It was. I believe the euphemistic term for it is avant-garde. Speaking of stop motion, there was a recent version of it called. Mad God, and it's stop motion.
That was weird. You seen Mad God?
It took 10 years to make. I think I'll have to watch it again sometime.
Phil Tippett did. He did loads and loads of stop motion stuff.
I had a very hard time watching it. I will watch it again. But
I watched it a while ago. Mad God, it is strange.
I'm not going to watch it anytime soon.
I don't know whether you know, but I watched there was a really good documentary on Disney Plus about Industrial Light and Magic. The company, the special effects company, and Phil Tippett. It's really really sad because Phil Tippett did loads and loads of work for Jurassic Park, loads of stop motion work for Jurassic Park, and then they went, oh no, we're gonna. Computer.
We got this
CGI is the future.
CGI.
Yeah. They managed to integrate him, but it kind of broke him, I think.
I rewatched Starship Troopers this weekend, and I really liked it. But one of the things I noticed in it was like the flight scenes in it were 1970s era special effects. They were like, if someone told me this was like Star Wars, I believe them because it's very much. I'm not sure if it was green screen or miniatures.
With Star Wars was probably about 20 years ahead of its time because George Lucas was really really like anal about special effects.
The thing is, Starship Troopers did have CGI in it, but they didn't use CGI where they didn't have to, and I think it benefited from that.
The actual arachnids were mechanical things, weren't they? Puppets.
Oh, were they? Well, yes, but
I think the close-up stuff. This is the thing. If you're going to go CGI,
the CGI models,
you need a mix. You need a mix between animatronic CGI, and you need to do like the close-ups with actual real. Because I think even like Jurassic Park is way ahead of its time because they used the animatronics as well as the CGI, didn't they?
Well, the thing is, you need something the actors can. Yes, you need something the actors can interact with. If they can't, then you're just going to have like Ian McKellen crying on stage because he's just in a green screen. You know that in The Hobbit where he's just like surrounded in a green screen. It's just. And he's crying because it's like, is this what my art's been reduced to? It's like, unfortunately, yes, it is.
And you can fuck off because we've got AI now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the other.
Actors, what are they?
Actors learn to code. How long do you give it before actors are gone?
I'll tell you something which did work kind of well. You know that sort of creepy de-aging CGI stuff they do?
Oh yeah, Stan Winston did the puppet dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Yeah, obviously Stan Winston created the Predator. Absolutely legendary special effects guy.
Did Jim Henson's company do Starship Troopers?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. They did do it later on because
the Henson company made the Turtles from the original Turtles films.
Yeah. I saw a thing showing Star Wars where Yoda was just going to be a midget in a monkey mask. It looks really quite creepy. And then eventually someone managed to convince George Lucas that you should have Jim Henson do him as a puppet.
Have you seen the original Predator? What the original Predator looked like?
No.
That was fucking garbage. until they got Stan Winston on board. It was like an orange insect, I think is what it started off as.
Oh, that's no good then, is it?
Terrible. Yeah, the making of Predator's really, really good. I watched that years ago.
But I think this is the other thing. Apparently there was a bit of a divide in the Star Wars camp because they were annoyed with George Lucas wanting to turn it into just like a way to merchandise toys to children. But you could see with Empire Strikes Back, it's like, yeah, we want to do a proper like sci-fi film with, adult themes.
Well, I think what benefited George Lucas was he surrounded with he didn't surround himself with yes men. So I think that's why he brought, I think it's Lawrence Kasdan on board, didn't he? Wrote a lot of Empire Strikes Back.
I want to say that Star Wars did well in spite of George Lucas. I mean,
yeah. Well,
I don't know, because
I don't know, man.
The original episode of Star Wars, I'd say no, but the rest of it, I'd say yes. But then he still created Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks, didn't he?
Oh shit! I didn't set the timer. Be right back. I've got a pasty in the oven. Just a moment.
Right. Well.
Anyway, as we were, the Ewoks still happened.
It did, yeah.
Which is Wookiee backwards, by the way.
Oh no! Really? Oh god. Really?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. The original trilogy. The original trilogy was the original trilogy was kind of was Lucas held back by other people, wasn't it? And the prequels is what happens when George doesn't have when George is surrounded by yes men.
Like we were having that conversation earlier about like Metal Gear Solid, right?
Yeah.
First three were tempered. Hideo Kojima was tempered by, I forgot what his name is. There was this other guy who was writing it with him, and then on the fourth one, he disappeared.
Oh right, you mean like apparently it's Quentin Tarantino and his editor, isn't it?
No, there's just
you got Quentin Tarantino. You've got Quentin Tarantino. I think Django Unchained was his first film without his editor, and that's where you tell that he had a good editor that worked with him that used to temper him,
rein him in. Yeah, that's it. All these creative people, they need like grounding. Otherwise, it's just
they need to be surrounded by no men, not yes men. Don't they?
Yeah. They need restraint. That is beauty in art, restraint.
Yeah, I think it is. And the thing is that filmmaking used to be saved by limitation of budget and imagination. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you can have anything on screen, it's like that kind of choice is paralysing, isn't it? Whereas like something like Predator, like RoboCop even was saved by the fact that there were limitations. So I don't know whether you know, but RoboCop in the original script was supposed to run as fast as, and this was the actual quote from the guy who wrote it, Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
He was supposed to run as fast as. It's a really weird. I don't know why they said Spider-Man, but they said as fast as Spider-Man.
Isn't it? It's like what was it? Which zombie film was it? The remake of the Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
had zombies running, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it totally like took out like all the suspense out of it, and it's just it ruined it because running zombies, right?
Well, there you go.
There's no
The
tension
Alphabet
anymore.
Cat says with Alfred Hitchcock, his wife told him when an idea wasn't working. A good artist always needs they need their no man, don't they? They need someone to rein them in.
Exactly.
See, I think with a good no man, the prequels would have been a lot better. But then, whose idea was it to get rid of the about the infamous Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord?
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
How was it? That would have been fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
That would have been amazing. That would have actually been better than.
Yeah, but on the plus side, at least we had Christopher Lee as. I mean, the name Count Dooku is stupid, but the fact is, Christopher Lee is superb in every role he's been in. Why did we get on the subject of clangers and puppets and all this stuff? I thought we were going to talk about Burning Man.
I don't know. I think I started with the Moomins. I don't know. I can't remember. Burning Man. We must have got onto it from Burning Man somehow.
You've got better attention spans than we do. Remind us again why we were talking about this stuff. And Ferry Morgana says Star Wars is saved in editing. Jeff had a good video
the
today.
Originals wasn't. I don't know. Fraser, do you remember the start the stormtrooper banging his head on the half closed door?
Didn't they leave that in on purpose though? Isn't that like a
well, apparently fluffs used to be left in so film execs could tell whether people enjoyed the film, because you're only going to notice stuff. Obviously, this is before the DVD market, but you're only going to notice stuff like that if a film's shit.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at everything because you're so bored. So, like, I mean, you think about it. There's some pretty shit films out there that you think are good, just because the film kind of carries you along.
A lot of people say Death Machine wasn't a good film, but I enjoyed it.
See, Hobbit, you didn't even notice all the alien mess.
Well, that was the thing, because I was just enjoying the film, and I didn't go, oh yeah, this film's directed by the guy that did all the special effects of Alien.
Yeah.
But then
a lot of the stuff is Alien references.
I rewatched it again, and I was just like, oh yeah, I can see the sort of nods to this.
Is it Scott Ridley?
It's
It's one of the blokes called Scott Ridley in it.
Ridley Scott. In it.
No, in the film Death Machine
Scott
that
Ridley.
Hobbit's talking about. I'm sure the bloke's name's like Scott Ridley or something.
You know, it's almost a shame that Dave Ockheim thinks about his gay, stupid Slay Industries.
Slay Industries, what is that?
Do you not know? Slay Industries, right, is definitely not Cyberpunk Glasgow. Right.
I'd want to see that. I'd love to see that.
Right,
let's have an update to an old Fortean. Did you ever get the answer as to why they decided to change the gradient for motor vehicles 20 years ahead of when they were created?
No, that guy hasn't blocked me on Twitter. He just never responded to me.
Maybe you should ask him again, Hobbit, just for the lols.
Oh yeah. So, chat, if you can remember who's the guy of Skeptic Magazine and his Twitter handle, I'll send him the message again.
Skeptoid, wasn't it?
Skeptoid, Skeptic, Reddit baby, blah blah blah.
Yeah, ask him why they just decided all of a sudden to change all the gradients 20 years
over
before
the
cars
whole world,
were invented.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, how do you do that without modern like tipper lorries and such?
Horse and cart, Hobbit.
Yeah, lots of the horse and carts that you're trying to make obsolete.
Yes,
I do love it when the quote unquotes like
you know that problem you're
explanation.
trying to fix because the horse and cart couldn't go up a hill very well.
Yeah.
So you're making the gradient steep.
No, it wasn't about horse and carts, was it, Fred? It was about automobiles. You know, there was like half a glass.
About the reason they did it is because horse and carts are having problems going up hills.
In 1850, automobiles were a big thing, right?
No,
and
they reduced the gradient for cars, didn't they? I think
that's why they regraded all the cities in the world at the same time and decided, it'd just be cheaper just to bury like the first layers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why they don't do this nowadays with potholes. Fuck, fill in that and just raise the street a level.
Oh, they do it, but then manhole covers. Sorry, people kind covers. They sort of get buried like about 3 or 4 inches deep, and then you sort of run over them.
Covers now, Hobbit?
Well, that's why I say like the Justin Trudeau people kind covers. Yes, quite. So, yeah. Burning Man or simulation? What do you want to? What's this
we started with Burning Man, didn't we? I think I started by laughing at the the tribal cops giving no fucks about those.
Yeah, that bit was very funny. I appreciated that.
I just love the. Oh, here we go. The cops are here. We're going to get the soft soap from them, like we do normally. Wham. Wham! There you go. How
the road, you fucking smelly hippie! Oh yeah, that was.
Respect my authority.
I was saying before the show started. You ever notice like women in videos when they're getting arrested, they always like demand something, and they start throwing a tantrum when they realize like, oh, hang on, I'm not getting my own way. Why is this?
Can we talk? Hold on. Sidebar. Can we talk about? That woman, the pregnant woman that was killed by running over a copper, her name was Takia.
That's not a real name.
Okay, this is what I'm saying.
Wait, Takia, as in...
Her name's Takia.
No, her name's Laquifa, but they decided to rename it Takia because, like, that's
honestly,
more respectful.
Fraser, the woman's name is Takia.
What's her surname?
Jones, Jefferson, Washington, or something like that.
Jefferson. Really?
Well, you know,
fuck off.
Right, what I'm saying is no. I'm not saying it's all 3 of those surnames. It's just take your pick.
Right,
there's a certain demographic in America where their surname is Jefferson or Adams or basically one of the
Takia Young.
Young. Well, they wasn't one of the founding fathers.
Fraser, there you go. There's. I've just put it in general. Yeah, she decided that apparently if you wrestle your way out of the cops and then run them over, that means you win, and you don't. You mean you win? Oh. You win not having charges. That's what you win.
I'm not going to speak specifically to Laquifa Johnson's circumstances, but there are situations where women are getting arrested and they don't understand or accept they're being arrested, and they're still making demands, and they haven't quite cottoned on to the fact that, oh, I'm under arrest, I better do what the policeman says.
It's a trial by combat, isn't it? If you win the trial by combat, you earn your freedom.
Oh no, I'm not talking in regards to Laquifa Newport Johnson. I'm saying like women in general when they're getting arrested. Yeah, Laquifa, Takia, whatever, Chantal, whatever her name is. Some sort of name which is very part of their culture.
She's one of the BLM saints now, isn't she?
She's participating in their life.
Yeah.
I believe that is the official parlance.
Imagine a black female sovereign citizen, the trifecta of non-cooperation.
Yeah. So, it's just it's sort of thing of like, oh, the policeman told me I better not move. Well, I'm just going to carry on and run him over. Well, now I've been shot and I am dead. A tragedy. How will society ever recover?
Yeah, and let's not forget she was shoplifting alcohol for her baby. Well, her unborn baby.
Oh yeah, because it's booze for babies. You see.
She was only stealing baby sham, Hobbit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which is booze for baby.
Yeah, because they've got to get it through the placenta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because the latest fashion with the kids of today, which will also be the kids of tomorrow. Well, we call it the hammerhead sharks.
Is she going for the little mermaid look?
Well, I was going to say the hammerhead. The hammerhead shark fashion, so that have the eyes spaced as far apart as possible.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is fetal alcohol syndrome, as Fraser pointed out. You know who else has fetal alcohol syndrome? King Cobra JFS, dark gothic wizard, fan of the Harry Potter show. I just want to throw that in there.
We've gone down
get
this.
the reference.
Right, let's get back on track. Burning Man.
Let's start the show an hour in, shall we? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 36 minutes in, it's all right.
Yeah, that's
not bad
quite
for
good
us.
for us, right? Yeah, exactly.
I can
Remember,
probably.
We all need some restraint. I will be.
I can probably summarise all the
we're all George Lucas's here. We need a Lawrence Kasdan to sort us out, don't we?
Oh, do you want me to summarise what's been going on in like half a minute? And then we can talk more about it.
We'll take our time with it. We'll do it properly.
Oh, I don't like doing it properly.
That's what she said.
Well, occasionally we have to. That's what your mum said. But...
Oof.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Burning Man, or do you want to start with Balenciaga?
You do the Balenciaga.
Balenciaga.
No. But I know that in Italian, Balenciaga means definitely not paedophiles.
Means touching kids.
Oh yeah.
Does it? Right then.
Let's fact check that, shall we?
So let's read from Vogue, that the bastion of not touching kids. Vogue. 5 things to know about Balenciaga's The Mud Show for SS23. I don't know what SS23 does. Maybe that's a Hitler reference. I don't know.
We'd have to consult the ADL if it's one of the. Is it the 88 out of 100 numbers?
Don't start on the ADL. Have you been following that? Musk's gonna fuck him up, isn't he?
I will have to disavow or avow, depending on the court outcome of the defamation case. Yeah, but you can't say certain numbers because they're anti-Semitic.
Well, there's a whole heap of numbers between 1 and 100.
This is certainly a rabbit hole.
88 out of 100 numbers from 1 to 100 are anti-Semitic.
Do you guys want to know? I found this article. It's from some fucking site, but it's really interesting to this Balenciaga thing. Does Balenciaga have a secret meaning in Latin or Spanish? A recent holiday ad campaign by luxury fashion house Balenciaga has landed the company in hot water. Latest online rumour to come from the proceeding is that the name Balenciaga is split into 3 separate words. Bal, we all know what that word is. NC and Aga has a secret meaning in Latin. Claim appeared on Instagram. You can find blah blah. In reality, okay, so Balenciaga.
Andrew Tate was a big Balenciaga enjoyer, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's with all the? Have you seen these AI things with like really fat people and they're like dressed in Balenciaga stuff?
No. Have you seen? So what do you think? What do you think, Hobbit? Do you reckon you'd go out? Do you reckon you'd go out around the town wearing that?
Well, one of the things I saw was like the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation in Balenciaga uniforms.
Yeah.
And they were just like doing various things, and then I saw a King Cobra JFS wearing Balenciaga, and then I saw fat people in their executive mobile scooty scoots, Balenciagas.
Hobbit, the picture up on screen at the minute. Do you reckon you'd go around the town in something like that?
Oh, let's have a look at. Yes, I'm totally just an extra from Hellraiser.
So the show was set in a mud grave. Because apparently Balenciaga do a lot of. I can't remember the podcast I listened to, but there's one where he decodes, or quote unquote decodes.
What is a mud grave?
Fact checkers to the rescue, guys.
It's a grave.
Fact check.
Mud.
Balenciaga is not Latin for Baal is the king, but
okay.
Google Translate can be tricked into saying it is.
Oh, when are they going to do a Google fact check on a black man in Welsh is not Dindu?
Yeah, okay.
On the seat of every chair, guys. In the seat of every chair of the gigantic Parc d'Exposition in de Villepinte.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is. I'm on that Samuel Weston side. Oh, fucking hell. Where the epic Balenciaga show took place was a note from Demna, This show is a metaphor for digging for truth and being down to earth. And if you believe that, I've got London Bridge to sell you.
Is this just a bunch of words they string together randomly?
It's Vogue. It's pictures strung together with words of not much meaning. A bit like, do you remember on page 3 when the page 3 model used to?
Oh yeah, you know.
I used to fucking love that. That was peak. That was peak Sun. That was when she gave her little
Carol. 17 from Essex says we perhaps should return to the gold standard as it would introduce financial stability in the markets.
As Codriano said, it's just like that kind of shit. It's like, where the fuck are these women getting these quotes from?
Look, I know I'm special needs, but it's like when you read these articles out, obviously they're in English, but the way you're saying these words don't make any sense to me.
Yeah. It's like I was on Twitter the other day and this woman goes, blah, 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 you read this article. And I tried to, and it was the Guardian. And I even skimmed it and it still didn't get to the point. And I was like, I can't read that. Maybe it's fucking garbage.
Maybe we should do what JMK does and just put it into ChatGPT. Can you translate this, but for like a 6-year-old reading comprehension?
Yeah. Well, it's already in a 6-year-old reading comprehension, isn't it? If the Guardian's written it.
But it's fucked up the way they use the English language, or rather butcher it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the problem, you see. I can't understand modern English.
Right, let's get through this Vogue article. Before you got to your seat, you had to tiptoe your way around the blackened out space, not to fall into the enormous mud grave that had been dug in the centre of the show space. Earthly aroma.
What's a mud grave?
Well, they just mean grave. They don't realise graves are made dug out of mud, do they? You know, these people are so removed from real life that they have to be called. It has to be called a mud grave.
It's just like when Americans say it's a real estate agent.
Do they mean a mud grave, or do they mean like a mass grave?
I mean, surely, if your soil is so muddy that you can't dig a hole out of it, then well, then you can't dig a hole. It's not. This makes no sense what they're saying.
Preceded by a longer text mapping out Denmar's aversion for the way fashion labels people. His metaphor for the mud show was admirable. But after last season's presentation, staged just a week after Putin invaded Ukraine, which saw models fighting their way through a snowstorm with bin bags in their hands as a reflection of Denmar's... This is so fucking pretentious. But anyway, there's I don't know what Kanye is that? How would you describe that Kanye on screen, Hubbard?
That is Urban Combat Kanye. Is he like a Ken doll? Is he get like various like fashion?
Yes. It's Urban Combat Kanye. Kanye West opened the show. His ex-wife Kim Kardashian and their children looked on the runway side with Khloe Kardashian and Kyle.
Is she the one who did like a picture of her ass on the internet, and then someone did like put it on the coffee machine, so it looked like she was doing a diarrhea dump in the coffee cup?
That was Kim Kardashian, and Khloe Kardashian is absolutely not O.J. Simpson's daughter.
Are they like you know, Danny and Kylie Minogue? But who's the one that did Locomotion? Because I like that song.
That's Kylie.
What did Danny Minogue do?
Danny was fit. Danny was fit. Danny was in Home and Away.
Oh, well, yeah, they both were fit at one point.
So anyway, I'm showing you this bullshit. Sorry for the audio audience, you can't see it. But I'm showing you this. I mean, what is that? What would you call that? What would you call that Ken doll? That Ken doll there, he's got a bag with a baby in it. So what would you call that?
Bag with baby. The Jimmy Savile Ken doll.
You got any balls for baby? I do look. The smell of Reeves and Mortar is just top comedy.
That's just
baby. You can't give a baby balls. Like baby shabs, balls for baby.
That's like a carrier bag, like a Tesco bag.
A bit like that, but it's see-through and it's got a baby in it, and he's got a baby on it as well. Obviously, we know about Balenciaga, and they do like bondage bondage, or was it bondage soft toys and the bullshit? But anyway, why am I mentioning Balenciaga? I'm mentioning Balenciaga because Balenciaga did the Mudgrave, and then what happened, Hobbit? This year,
I don't know.
What's happened this week?
Burning Man.
Yes.
Yeah, the mass sacrifice to Tanit, but more about that later.
Well, mass sacrifice, one idiot.
So far. They're not talking about the actual deaths.
You think there's more deaths? You think there's more deaths?
Oh, what? There's 75,000 people there without food or water and drugs, and they're covered in...
And also, why did I mention the protesters at the start? Because the protesters were blocking the one and only road in and out of Burning Man.
Oh, and some other fun coincidence. I may as well say it now before I forget. 19 days prior to Burning Man, BlackRock wanted to buy up some properties in Maui. So we had the it's not the Jews, it's the Dews. And then where does Burning Man take place? Well, the nearest city is Black Rock City. So
yeah, also, where do all the children go?
Well, people are saying that this could well have been caused by HAARP. I mean, I believe. Do you remember Hurricane Sandy that just wrecked the entire eastern seaboard of the US? I think Hurricane Sandy was HAARP gone out of control. Well, maybe it was what they wanted.
We did that weather warfare episode because I mentioned Operation Popeye in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And just as in summary,
there's the other. No, is it the French guy? The other guy that created the experiments, but he went to the grave with his secrets. He wouldn't tell the government.
Operation Popeye was a successful weather warfare where they seeded clouds in Vietnam to cause flooding.
Is that why Forrest Gump talked about all the different kinds of rain? There was rain went up, rain went down. There was big old fat rain. Do you remember that bit?
Oh, I don't remember that, but that makes sense because Tom Hanks is spooky. There's a lot I don't like about him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's Kevin Spacey, but I'm also saying maybe. Allegedly.
And his weird kid Chad and his fucking White Boy Summer or whatever that part.
What, he's got a child called Chad?
Is it Chad? Chad or Chaz? I'm pretty sure it's Chad or Chad.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Why do the actors have to...
We just ramble on and we just have the audience pulling us out the shit all the time, don't we?
Do you remember when we all thought the Canary Islands was going to slip in? Well, not the Canary Islands. What's the one?
La Palma.
La Palma, that's it. The one
that's Canary Islands.
Is it? Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that island was going to slip into the sea or something and kill everyone.
Gran Canaria is due to do that.
It's what's the volcano there? What's it called? Is that Las Palmas?
In Gran Canaria.
Is that Las Palmas? Is it?
Tenerife, Fuerteventura, Las Palmas, they've all got active volcanoes. Gran Canaria's got...
There was an earthquake there yesterday or something.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
See, well, this is the thing. This is why I don't really like, HAARP. They're not very effective weapons, then, are they? Like, honestly, they're not that effective, right?
I don't know.
I mean... Hurricane Sandy, did they want that, or was Hurricane Sandy not effective? It fucked up a lot of New York, didn't it? I mean, a lot of the stuff now is like the what do they call it? The vulture capitalism. So whenever there's an earthquake or something somewhere, like you'll see, like concrete stocks will go up because people start investing in concrete and things like that.
Well, here's something neither of you considered. What if it's this is the new generation of warfare? So countries go into war with each other using these silent weapons. So a few weeks prior to this stuff happening in Hawaii and Burning Man, what have you, you've got thing.
Do you know what, Hobbit? I'm going to counter signal on this because I think that's gone.
I haven't even said so. How can you counter signal it?
I think that's gone because I think all it's about is money. I don't think it's about territory. I don't think it's about anything else. I think it's purely about making money from the cleanup or the...
Yeah.
Well, that's not much of a counter signal because I agree with you. But the bit which I want to say, the bit which I think is pertinent to this, is that with excuse me, with regards to China was recently flooded. They were saying that's where the warfare. So, as a retaliation, China floods parts of America. So, Burning Man, where you've got a lot of rich elite go to, and of course Hawaii, which a lot of people benefit from. So who knows? Maybe they're just rootless cosmopolitans. They're not actually beholden to any one nation. They just
I think the day of the nation has gone. I think we're going into full on dystopia. Corporations carving up, OCP owning cities. Yeah. I don't think we're far off of that.
There's probably a few nations here and there. I mean, I imagine Iran and North Korea are their own nations.
I mean, I see our future somewhere between RoboCop and Soylent Green.
Deus.
Yes.
You should have watched my Let's Play of Deus Ex, Fraser. You'd have heard me saying it all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, Deus Ex, yeah.
Deus Ex, yeah.
But you've seen Soylent Green, don't you think that's the most likely scenario where we're stealing jam lids off of people so we can lick them?
I think
Fraser,
we're more
have you seen Soylent Green?
I may have seen it once.
Watch Soylent Green again, and I think it's the most likely cyberpunk dystopia to happen. Where people are living on, because Charlton Heston has the apartment, doesn't he, with his Jewish mate, and there's people living on the stairs and stuff, and I think that's where it's going because we're going to be that fucking rammed in.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, all of this stuff is just reflections on reality, but I think we're sort of closer to Brazil, which is the satirical version of 1984.
Satirical version?
Well, I say satirical
because there are no terrorists. I've been listening. You can tell I've been listening to the Lotus Eaters, but there are no terrorists, are there? There are no terrorists.
But are there?
It's the system crumbling, isn't it? And that's
because if you look at the system, it's like needlessly complex, and it's too complex for the incompetence to deal with. So it's just like this is what it is now.
Yeah.
I think we already know we live in 1984, right? Fuck.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah, but
the
we
way
don't, that world
language
is controlled, and everyone at least pretended. This is how good it is. You believe you're not controlled. How do you know that? Yeah.
We certainly have the newspeak of 1984.
Yeah,
but we also have.
I'll agree there are elements of 1984, but we don't have.
We have the criminal incompetency.
We don't really have the One Vision stuff. Like everybody's vision is.
What do you mean? Have you ever seen Pride and Diversity and all that?
We don't have
people are still dissenting in huge numbers, aren't they? They haven't got complete control, have they?
That's just agitprop.
Agitprop.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not far off. It's.
I certainly would be.
But then again, they've learned from 1984, right? The best control is to please people to believe that they're not being controlled, right?
That's your Brave New World. I think this is an interesting discussion which we should have, but I want to talk more about Burning Man. Okay. And did you know that this desert is
Jesus
quite
Christ, no. I'm just gonna keep doing Edward Woodward impressions while you do it.
Oh yeah, his name's Edward Woodward, isn't it?
Rip Edward Woodward, like quality actor.
It's just such an unusual name, Edward Woodward.
Yeah, he was great. No. Did you ever see The Equalizer, the TV series that he was in?
Yes, my dad watches that.
Really good TV series that was.
No, my mate, who let's call him Dave. Now, Dave says first time he saw Wicker Man, he just thought he was watching an episode of Lovejoy or something, until it got to the bit at the end with the jars of foreskins and the Burning Man, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Christ, no.
Oh yeah, this is the thing, right? So it's like a town of rural Scots. I just
love his because Edward Woodward's not Scottish at all, is he? So he just puts Jesus Christ. No, he just puts a little bit of Scottish on there, and it's like.
I think I might have seen Callan actually, Alphabet Cat. Yeah, it's.
Callan was like a spy TV series, wasn't it?
I've never watched Wicker Man myself, but I always remember that my mate just saying like, "Oh yeah, it was just like watching an episode of Lovejoy, but it gets really dark at the end."
Yeah, it's weird because it's kind of like ethereal. So, do you know the story, Hobbit?
A man gets sent to investigate this rural Scottish thing where the people are sacrificed, and then he finds out.
He's there to find a particular girl who's gone missing, and that's how.
Yeah, that's when you find.
And then you find out that he's a virgin. He's a girly virgin.
Oh, no.
Aha! Girly virgin! Do you remember that Young Ones? The one where Vivian's pointing the howitzer at Rick and he makes him wear that sign saying, "Yes, I'm a girly virgin."
Whatever happened to that, like, kind of, the virgin sacrifice thing? Whatever happened to that kind of...
It's now child trafficking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A virgin sacrifice is just
good luck finding a virgin.
It's a euphemism for child sacrifice because when you're talking about virgins, that's what children are.
I don't know. It wasn't child sacrifice back then, though, was it? I mean, you could probably find a 16 or 20-year-old virgin
it was
back then.
Yeah, but like. Mate, again, the sort of thing where with the vampires stealing children to like drink their blood, the virgins like being teenagers was just a euphemism because the idea that, oh my god, you mean there's actual monsters that kidnap children and do horrible things to them, extract their adrenochrome or what have you. So anyway, Burning Man, did you know about the geology of that desert? Because I thought that was interesting. Well, no, I'm saying about the actual mineral composition of it. It's called an alkali flat because it turns out there's a lot of hydroxide minerals there. And when you combine those hydroxide minerals with water, you end up with sodium hydroxide, which is also known as bleach.
Do you remember that time at Glastonbury? There was a similar sort of thing. There was a flood and everyone got E. coli because cow shit got into the into the mud.
So the thing is, we've already got a health disaster in the fact that people are walking around in bleach. Now, if you've ever interacted with bleach, you'll know it's nasty stuff.
To be fair, like a lot of standing water on its own is it can be a health problem, can't it?
But imagine you're walking in bleach. Right, not just standing water, but no, I'm very animated about this. Tanit demands blood sacrifice.
Bleach sacrifice.
Now, a bleach sacrifice. So you got people, they're coming down from
skin layer sacrifice.
Tanit demands your fat be turned into soap. See,
we've heard that before.
You got all these people walking around, and their
Fight Club. Their
skin is sloughing off. And they're coming down from
sloughing. Sloughing just reminds me of. Have you ever heard of the process called degloving? You know where people get their arm caught in a shit?
No,
they call it degloving.
No, thank you.
Degloving is where
disavow, unsubscribe. Bye. I'm done now.
Yeah.
So, in summary, very unpleasant things are happening in Burning Man, and people are suffering nasty chemical burns from walking in the mud. They're coming down from drugs. They're thirsty. The portaloos, they're all full, so they're overflowing, which means you've got the sort of, shit diseases like cholera, except they're saying it's not cholera.
You can get, if there's any like cow shit there, you could probably have a bit of E. coli as well, couldn't you?
Well, you'll get E. coli from human feces as well. The Mexican farmers will, because there's always that thing.
I used to know a mate used to do security. He did security at Glastonbury one year, and these group of lads kick the portaloo over. Someone was in
it. No! Oh, grim. But anyway, as the Americans will tell you, you've always got to wash your lettuce and strawberries because the Mexican labourers like to shit on them, and so you've got to deal with E. coli because of that.
The Mexicans are much like the Muslims, where they like to leave a little bit of fecal matter on anything they cook.
They cook with love, which is to mean shit on everything. But the thing is, so rather than saying, it's cholera and typhoid and other sort of diseases from sewage, they're saying it's definitely not Ebola, It's not Ebola. We just got these people in hazmat suits coming in to investigate because it's Ebola. You might be asking...
So it probably isn't Ebola then, it's just the fucking bleach. The bleached water.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know if they've gone back.
Just send them in waders, or do they want to shit them up? This is the thing. Do they want to create panic there?
Again, it's like people are coming down from drugs. They're paranoid, they're thirsty, they're hot, they're in pain because they got chemical burns. Ooh. And there's people that have got RVs, which, they've been told, open up your doors and allow the people in tents to come in. So already in Burning Man, we got like a microcosm of the current problems with refugees and what have you. Well, they call them refugees, but we all know what they are, really. So you got all these problems amounting, and it turns out the people in the RVs, they're not willing to share them. It's kind of weird. Like, the rich people are not willing to share. The haves are not willing to share with the have-nots.
Talk about Ebola for a sec. Like Alphabet Cat said, the Ebola outbreaks. The Ebola outbreaks are weird. Wasn't there a Scottish nurse who caught it? The thing about Ebola is, like, it's not really that dangerous if you're in a civilized country, is it?
All my friends have Ebola. Even Mary Sue has Ebola. Let's get on the Ebola. There's this song called Soca Train, and it just, every time I hit Ebola, I think of, it's time for the Soca Train. Get on the Soca Train. Let's dance to the Soca Train.
But Ebola, if you're in a Western country, like, Ebola isn't even a problem, is it? It's just like antibiotics. Well, isn't it just like IV antibiotics, and then that's it? You're sorted, aren't you?
It's like it's a hemorrhagic fever, and it's nasty because it means you're bleeding from your orifices. But things like diarrhea and hemorrhagic fevers, they're not the end of the world in these. It's places where you haven't got inadequate sanitation. Of course, it's nasty.
Well, it's kind of like the old days.
So Burning Man,
it's kind of like medieval days, isn't it? Like, you could die from like a pinprick, couldn't you? If it got infected, you'd be fucked. Isn't that, isn't it?
Isn't that just more like, the modern world is brilliant, the medieval was terrible, the propaganda?
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that. It's just that, it wasn't as sanitary back then, was it?
Well, yeah, people saying that, but honestly, I'm thinking, like, there's all this thing of people saying, people didn't bathe very often back in the medieval times. So I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I'm not saying like they'd shower every day and wear 48-hour deodorants, but I don't think it's as bad as some people say, I bathe twice a year whether I need it or not.
Yeah.
You
remind me, I don't know why, but I keep getting reminded of the Young Ones. Do you remember that one with Time, when they go back in time and Hale and Pacey? I bet you a potato that my legs will fall off. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that. But I remember people saying like Cleopatra was very cleanly because she'd like bathe once a week in ass milk.
Bathe in ass milk. What is ass milk?
Well, donkey's also known as an ass.
Fucking hell, Hobbit. Real Fortean hours. There's a ghost in the chat.
Oh my god! Is it?
What?
It's the ghost of Dom Elfkicker.
Fucking hell.
Hello, stranger. Is there somebody out there? Are you in the room with us now, Dom Elfkicker? Moan incoherently if you are. So, there's...
Dominique, if you want to pop in.
Now, what I would like to say about the Burning Man, I've posted all of my findings, which is just images I've copy and pasted from, on there. But if you look at the ancient depictions of the Carthaginian, so Punic, which Phoenician, Canaanite, in other words, god Tanit. Now, Tanit.
Let's not forget that there's a statue of Moloch in the Colosseum currently.
You mean Colosseum or Vatican?
It's the Colosseum, isn't it? There's
in the Colosseum, right? Okay, yeah. Because they like to put these demonic statues everywhere. It's just like, is it actual Colosseum or is it the Vatican? Because
okay then, Hobbit. What about gargoyles then? Because gargoyles demonic, aren't they?
Well, if I can just circle back to Tanit. Now, Tanit, again, I think it was just a common theme with the Canaanite gods. You'd sacrifice babies to them, usually with fire. Moloch is mentioned a lot with the fire, and you can see that in Bohemian Grove with the cremation of care ceremony with mock human sacrifices, as they say.
I've got to say, Nixon, it's the faggiest goddamn thing I ever saw. Oh, that was the Skull and Bones, wasn't it?
No, that was of Bohemian Grove. It was the faggiest goddamn thing I've ever seen. Nixon, he had a lot.
We were quoting that YouTube.
We are quoting former US President Richard M. Nixon.
Yeah.
The M stands for Milhouse.
Yeah, because that's why Milhouse got his name, isn't it?
Why do US presidents have like stupid middle names like Joseph Robinette Biden? What Robinette?
What's W's middle name?
Wanker.
Wanker.
Wanker. Or maybe it's Wayne Carr.
Wayne Carr.
You know, the Americanization Wayne Carr.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tanit, represented by a sort of triangle with arms upheld.
It's George Walker Bush. Interdimensionalism.
Wait, hang on. George Herbert Walker Bush. So
yeah,
George Bush, the younger,
the senior. Herbert Walker is the senior.
Oh, similar to his dad, George Herbert Walker Bush. Right, so that's George H.W. Bush, and so they both got the same Walker as their names.
There's HW and there's W.
The W, I never understood that. That makes no sense to me. But anyway, Tanit is represented in Burning Man. The Burning Man logo is the logo of Tanit. And of course in Burning Man, there is the Burning Man sacrifice.
Hold on, I'll see if I can put it up.
Yeah, of course it does. So the Burning Man, they have this Wicker Man effigy, which they burn. And there have been some people...
Is it burning the whole time, is it? I think it is, isn't it?
There have been some people high on acid that have run into the fires and have died as a consequence. So the Burning Man sacrifices,
This is the official website for Blackrock City's Burning Man.
Yes, Blackrock City, the host of Burning Man.
Nothing to see here in Blackrock City.
Yeah, move on with the Maui space lasers.
So what are you saying? You're saying that bloke with his arms up in the air is Tanit?
Yeah, and it's also the Burning Man logo, because I'm
saying
saying that
like outpost thing that looks like the spider from Wild West.
Oh,
on the website, I've just put it up. You should be able to see.
But the fact is, it's like, look,
can you see that like looking post thing?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to with this point whilst I remember it. This is not the first time, like a music festival, as they call them. They're all just like pagan I'm pretty sure they're all pagan festivals. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been to like Stonehenge and I've been to Roll Right Stones for winter and summer solstices. So I'm not opposed to pagan celebrations, even if I am Catholic. But right. Anyway, it's a burnt sacrifice offering. Tanit demands blood sacrifices, and I thought, and this year, some people have said God is smiting the pagans. Maybe Tanit demands mass sacrifice.
Fly Ranch. What is Fly Ranch?
Yes, Ferry Morgana says, looks like the Martians from War of the Worlds. That's what I was thinking of, the big spindly walkers.
Fly Ranch. How about this from them? Fly Ranch is a 38,000 acre ranch in northern Nevada, home to Fly Geezer. Projects are organised by thousands of participants. So Fly Ranch, the Lord of Flies, perhaps?
Which is Beelzebub, which...
Yeah,
and Baal is like is like the evil Canaanites version.
So Fly Ranch is one of their programs.
Well, of course that makes sense. So that's where they worship Beelzebub.
Burners Without Borders is another one of their programs.
Except for the RVs, the have-nots may not enter the area of the haves.
Oh, have you seen this?
It's all performative bollocks.
You seen this?
It's all performative bollocks, isn't it? Because it's just like, Burning Man without borders, except you've got to pay the entry fee and we're going to have a border around. It's like Glastonbury Festival. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? Before I forget.
Hold on. Burning Man has 10 principles. Did you know it has 10
I don't want to know about the 10K commandments. Yes, I do. However, before I forget this point, please let me finish. Do you remember that rapper, and they were doing that thing...
You're supposed to go, hang on, if you want to carry on talking.
Oh, yeah, but capstanisms are annoying. I don't want to be that autistic. I am enthusiastic about this, but I just... Right. Do you remember the rapper, what did the show? In order to get into the show, you had to go through this wide-open mouth, which looked like a scene from Dante's Inferno. And then there were people dying in the audience, and this mumble rapper was just carrying on mumble rapping.
Oh, even shit. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called, though.
I'm sure someone in the audience will say the name of the SoundCloud mumble rapper was so-and-so, and that festival was called this, and The Hobbit, it wasn't from Dante's Inferno, it was from this other depiction of hell, where like a big demon mouth is open, and like the souls of the damned are going through it, or something. Travis Scott.
They go to Burning Man and episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
There we go. Interdimensional Lizard's got it. Travis Scott of Astroworld.
Yeah, Travis Scott. He's up to his fucking testicles in Illuminati, isn't he?
I mean, I don't think it's controversial to say now that the people in these music shows, they do stuff which is controversial, which is demonic. I mean, I was upset to see recently people have been talking about Doja Cat. Now,
what about who's the blues guy that made a deal with the devil on the
Robert Johnson?
Robert Johnson. There you go.
Yeah.
Who's to say Beyonce didn't make a deal with the devil? Jay-Z didn't make a deal with the devil.
Well, they all have.
Lady Gaga didn't.
They all have. I mean, that's.
I mean, if they're not doing it knowingly, they're doing it unknowingly, aren't they? With all the, because Jay-Z throws up a lot of triangles, doesn't he?
I think they all understand. Yet you make a deal with the devil when you're doing that stuff. If you want to get further up, and they'll have blackmail material. So I'm pretty sure Kanye West will have blackmail material on it, and that's why they've done all the stuff to him. Because he tried to go off.
I think he's a turd in the punch bowl.
He tried to go off the reservation. I'm going to reserve.
He did try to go off the reservation. I think he did what his job was. Because he's allowed back in the fold. He's doing Balenciaga. He's modelling for Balenciaga, isn't he? He was doing exactly as he was supposed to do. It's
what if
it's real people in and then throw the turd in the punch bowl, JD, isn't it? Like instead of mic drop, it's turd drop in the punch bowl, isn't it?
What if? Right, here's a thought. Yeah, what if? He did go off the reservation, but the crisis management was like, right, we need to get him back on.
I don't believe.
So you think he was like 100% controlled, and at no point did he cause embarrassment to his handlers?
Yeah, he.
What about the stuff?
What about stuff with? Why else has he had no real sanctions for what he did?
Well, again, I'm just another example. It's like Britney Spears. I mean, she went off the reservation a few times.
She did, yeah. I'd say she went off. But she didn't go screaming about the Jews, did she? So she didn't go that far off the reservation.
I mean, to be fair, she is blonde, so you got like she probably doesn't. I'm saying that Kanye had more wherewithal.
I think you got to call him Yee now, haven't you? I don't think you're allowed to call him
Yeezy, breezy, cheesy but breezy.
Yeah. Cheesy peas. Do you like cheese?
Cheesy.
Do you like peas?
Yeah, they're right. Well, you'll love cheesy peas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, squeezy cheesy peas. Oh yeah, it's dead good. That is. I like it. So I mean.
I believe.
Can I just use that womanly phrase?
The thing with Kanye West was that he smeared Nick, he smeared Alex Jones, he pooped in all over the punch bowl. Explosive diarrhea in the punch bowl, didn't he? And then he's gone back to modelling for Balenciaga. So
I agree with you.
Balenciaga is here you go. You've done a good job. you can carry on as you were.
I agree with you on this. I think he acts like. Have you seen those? I really want to use the term for Latin for black, but these schizo. Come on, what's the euphemism? Schizo diggers.
Yeah,
and they do this schizo thing. Yeah, there we go. The schizo JCBs.
Yeah,
and so he did his schizo bit.
Yeah,
and now he's back in control again. Because you know what's sad about that? He was doing all the Jesus stuff, but then it's like, okay, now can you please model for the child rape fashion house, please?
Yeah, well, it's the second anybody remembers anybody mentions the mid-century painter, as I believe they call him on the Lotus Eaters.
Fraser.
I think the second anybody mentions him, I think they're controlled up.
Who?
Yeah, I was going to say, you weigh on this, but you could be the time breaker here.
Between me and Hobbit. Yeezy. Where is he? Controlled up, or did he?
Yeezy?
Or did he go off the reservation?
Controlled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll defer to your. I'm still going to do the Stephen J. Jameson of saying let's agree to disagree.
I don't. Well, yeah, I'd say was. Yeah. I mean, he's a Hollywood fucking 1%er. What's he got a benefit of doing that?
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
How could you bring our
I mean, how many times has he done this now? Didn't he go off the reservation a couple of years ago as well? He does it. He does it every now and again. I think he's there to. He joins up the dots, and he kind of. He's like what's that thing? You know when they mark a target with an LED or something. He's there. He marks. He'll infiltrate. He'll mark the target, and they go, "Here you go. This is where you bomb."
Yeah, target designated.
It's kind of like make people think, "Oh, look, there's something to it," and then he's like has to go into rehab, and then they're like, "Oh, well, he's just crazy then, right?"
Yeah, and then only crazy people believe in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he marks the target.
Distraction, I think.
I mean, this is the thing. When someone goes on the Alex Jones show and he looks like the sensible one, something's going wrong, don't you?
Well, that's why I thought he's having a public breakdown and people are making fun of him. And I hope, although he hasn't got the wherewithal to do it, that he was going to redeem himself and be a bit like David Icke. But again, he can't.
Know, did he?
No, because again, he's not David Icke.
He's just got that weird slag, isn't he? Because he's just been banned.
He's a bit thick.
Hasn't he been banned from going on boats in Italy or something because his missus went out half naked? Have you not seen that stuff?
I don't know about any of that.
I mean,
because he's in Italy at the moment with his new prostitute.
Right. So this guy's literally set for life, right? Okay. He's probably got money that no one can touch, right?
He's a billionaire.
Well, yeah, he has no reason not to hold to his convictions if he believed it, but he didn't, right? So that just tells me that then, if you're not gonna, stand fast to your convictions with that, you can't be touched really unless they, threaten to kill you. But still, it's like.
They weren't threatening to kill him. They were threatening to abuse his children.
Well, okay.
Well, but the thing is, though, the normies go, the mid-century painter, the mid-century failed painter, and then they go, right, I can ignore this now.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's just had another mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I don't
think it was a breakdown. I think it was all orchestrated. I think Yeezy's a fucking top performance artist. A bit like, did you ever follow that stuff when Joaquin Phoenix pretended to have a breakdown? He started a rap career and pretended to have a breakdown.
I just think all of Hollywood and the music industry is cloaked in so much symbolism and.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's if you're going to get abused, especially as a teenager in Hollywood, there's a
podcast you should listen to that relates to this.
It's going to lead to a lot of screwy Louis behaviour. So What have I missed from all this stuff?
Yeah, there's a guy that does a one called occult symbolism and pop culture. Isaac Weishaupt is his name. I think that's his name. I think it's he does things like
Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati.
Yeah, I think that's the joke there. But occult symbolism and pop culture, brilliant podcast if you want to learn about what they're actually saying. But he actually did one on. There was like a VMAs quite a few years ago where Katy Perry did the song Raw, but she turned up on a diamond tiger, and that's like from is it from Revelation or something? That
Oh, wait.
but I haven't listened to. I didn't. That was quite a while ago. I listened to that one, but yeah.
So
and they do these things like you watch the VMAs, and they're actually doing like they're representing parts of like Revelation and stuff like that.
I recognise this. I'm going to post it into the Fortean word so you can show it to your audience. So, spoilers. If you've been in the Fortean word,
Mark
chat,
Devlin, Hobbit. You know Mark Devlin, don't you?
I've actually spent time with Mark Devlin before, so yes, I know him. I'll post this in general.
Just mentioned him in the chat.
It is an image, right, which has been in the Fortean Words chat. Now, for the audience at home on your radio...
Do you want me to put it up?
Yes, please. It's got some images here of burning effigies. So on the left-hand side, Hindus have got a burning cow. Then Canaanites in the middle, they've got their statue of Moloch, which is the burning bull. And then the burners of Burning Man have got a giant effigy, which looks like that statue looks a bit like the Eiffel Tower's legs. The Burning Man live feed looks a lot like a man sat in a throne, which I'm sure I've seen in Secrets of Bohemian Grove. And the rightmost picture is a statue of Baal Hamon, weather and vegetative fertility, king of the gods. Statue of Baal Hamon in his throne with a crown and flanked by sphinges, first century Anno Domini, year of our Lord.
The sphinges must be those creatures either side of him.
Oh, the winged fucking women things, isn't it? Like tigers and women.
Oh, what, are they like harpies or something, are they?
Yeah, something like that.
So we have on the bottom
looks
left
like Sphinx almost, doesn't it? Sphinges.
We have on the bottom left corner what I'm going to describe as the Church of England or the modern Vatican II Catholic art style. You see a lot of this in Vatican II Catholic artwork, especially with Catholic outreach missions. But anyway, symbol representing Burning Man, pseudo ouch practice. I can't read that. The resolution. I need more pixels.
Which one do you want? Which one are you trying to read?
Well, it's all the bottom left corner. Symbol representing
Burning Man. Pseudo occultic practice of
setting a human effigy on fire.
Yeah, of culting a human effigy on fire.
Setting.
That's it. Setting.
And then on the right-hand side, you've got the
symbol representing Tanit, ancient Puric goddess to whom Carthaginians.
The Carthaginians,
and their colonial populations would make sacrifices by passing a child through fire.
Colonial populations would make sacrifices to. Can you turn your radio down, please? Got some feedback there.
Dom's on, and he's got his radio on. Can you stop listening to us on the radio, Dom?
Yeah, you're with us now.
Oh, hello.
Here he is. It's the ghost of Dom. Whoa.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, I'm a few months late. I was trapped in a black vomit sauna.
Oh no! Oh god! Oh, I hated that episode. That's why I tried to forget about it. It was awful. Oh yeah. So. Now, for some reason, I don't understand the relevance of this headline, but I'm sure we could read the Times of Israel.
Yeah.
To dislike certain ethnicities is racist. To see burners as equal is anti-Semitic.
That's weird, isn't it?
Shall we read that article? It's from last year.
I'll go and find it then, I bet.
Yeah, okay. I'll go and find that.
While you're doing that, I'll do the 10 principles of Burning Man. Radical inclusion. Anyone may be part of Burning Man. We welcome and respect the stranger. No prerequisites exist for participation in our community. Gifting. Burning Man is devoted to acts of giving. The value of a gift is unconditional. Gifting does not contemplate a return or an exchange for something of equal value. So you give a bird one and she gives you a dose. They didn't have to be of equal value. In order to preserve the spirit of decommodification. In order to preserve the spirit of gifting, our community seeks to create social environments that are unmediated by commercial sponsorships, transactions, or advertising. We stand ready to protect our culture from such such exploitation. We resist the substitution of consumption for participatory experience.
I found the article, and it's written by...
do you want me to do the rest of these first?
Yeah, do it. But I'm sorry, the author of the article is called Moshe Mordecai van Zuiden.
Moshe.
He literally looks like Jewish Gandalf.
Does he look like Eggman from the ADL?
No, he doesn't. He's actually. See if I can get.
Did you see the pictures this week of he looks like what's his name, Robotnik from Sonic?
There's his mugshot in the article, so you can see there's Jewish Gandalf.
Radical self-reliance. Burning Man encourages the individual to discover, exercise, and rely on their inner resources. That's quite ironic, since most of them are probably trust fund kids. Radical self-expression. Radical self-expression arises from the unique gifts of the individual. No one other than the individual.
Can I just interrupt you there?
Go on then.
I know this is a recurring theme for tonight's show, but yes, the radical expressionism and itself can be accurately summarised in this one image I saw. This was from about 2007. It was a Burning Man thing, and it's like public use fleshlight. So it's just a fleshlight attached to a chain on the pole. No. And I don't want to say whether or not it's being used because the photograph wasn't high resolution enough. But it's just.
Did you want to know, Hobbit?
I mean, it probably has been used, hasn't it? Let's face it.
No one other than an individual or collaborating group can determine its content. It's offered as a gift to others. In this spirit, the giver should respect
the rights
and liberties of the recipient. I'm trying to do a bit of a smashing and nicey. I think that's kind of where I'm going.
Oh, that's where you're doing, because what it reminds me of is, you remember Professor researching space bats?
Oh, okay.
Space bats, you bet your ass.
Yeah. No, it's kind of smashy and nicey, I think, is where I'm going for. Communal effort.
Rock.
Our community values creative cooperation and collaboration. We strive to produce, promote, and protect social networks, public spaces, works of art, and methods of communication that support such interaction.
Right on.
Yeah, it's kind of a hippified version, and probably them when they were in the 60s.
So, what's the difference between this and Kibbo Kiff? Is there more or less sex?
Kibbo Kiff is more wholesome. Civic responsibility. We value, because it's like responsibility, mate. It's with the D's instead of the T's, isn't it? That's the kind of thing. We value civic society. Community and members who organise events should assume responsibility for all public welfare and endeavour to communicate civic responsibilities to participants. They must also assume responsibility for conducting events in accordance with local, state and federal laws. Considering the amount of fucking drugs going on there, they're not assuming responsibility for conducting events in accordance with local, state and federal laws, are they?
Maybe they are paying the correct bribes?
I mean, this is the biggest laugh going. Leaving no trace. Our community respects the environment. We are committed. Can you imagine the trash that's left over after that?
It is an ecological disaster, and a lot of people. I mean, that's why the protests are about there. It's just like, look, you leave all your shit here. The desert is a delicate ecological system, and you're fucking things up.
Yeah. We are committed to leaving no physical trace of our activities wherever we gather. You're burning a fucking giant effigy, like as if you're not going to have a physical trace afterwards. I mean, are they forgetting? Like, is it Einstein's fifth law? What's the one about? You can't.
Well, never mind that. It's the fact is, it's just like, look, mate, you're doing this thing, and it's fucked, and that you got your portaloos everywhere, and your shit goes everywhere, and it stinks.
Yeah,
and you go fuck yourselves. Is what I just want them to know, that they should go fuck themselves, which they do, because
we clean up after us. We clean up after ourselves, Hobbit, and endeavour wherever possible to leave such places in a better state.
We're using paper straws. Yeah, we put a free-use fleshlight here. Now the desk is better than what it was before.
I think the stench of shit is probably masked by the stench of hypocrisy and pretension.
Participation.
Dom, how could you be as cynical as we are?
Participation. Our community is committed to a radically participatory ethic. We believe that transformative change, whether in the individual or in society, can occur only through the medium of deeply personal participation. We achieve being through doing. Everyone is
the more you read,
work.
The more I want to cause violence.
Why? It says nothing. They're not saying anything. It's like all I get from after this is apathy. It's like
you read this out, and I just think, you know what, Greta Thunberg's got more integrity
isn't
than
it?
this.
It's like they don't mean any of this bullshit, do they? They want to go there. They want to get high as fuck. And fuck as many sluts that are out of their mind as possible.
I mean, the thing is, it's just empty, meaningless platitudes farted out of their mouth. They don't believe it. We don't believe it. But yet somehow they got it. You know what it is? It's basically slam poetry.
Yeah. Let's do the last one. Is just like the most like what the fuck of all of them. Immediacy. Immediate experience is in many ways the most important touchstone of value in our culture. We seek to overcome barriers.
Touching my stone.
We seek to overcome barriers that stand between us, as long as it's not to our gated community, and a recognition of our inner selves, the reality of those around us, participation in society, and contact with the natural world exceeding human powers. No idea can substitute for this experience. It's like this. It's fucking meaningless platitudes, isn't it?
It's why.
Have you done the Malcolm in the Middle episode yet?
No.
We did touch upon that briefly, didn't we?
Well, basically the premise is that the whole family go there in an RV, like this big plush RV, and camp up, and then the parents have this domestic dispute, and they get this big gathering because they all think it's performance art, basically.
To be fair, I can very well believe that that woman would turn him into Heidelberg.
Oh yeah, I mean, Malcolm in the Middle is the prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that woman turned him into what's his name? Heisenberg. That's it. That woman turned him into fucking Heisenberg, didn't she?
Well, you see, what I like to imagine is that in Breaking Bad, he's murdered her and the rest of his family. Now he's got this new family, and it's they don't. So the fact is, the first murders isn't when he runs over the drug dealers. Actually, when he kills that other drug dealer in the basement. No, it's just the first murder he did was killing his family and children, especially Malcolm. He's so annoying and whiny. Hey, you know the elder son in...
doesn't he sell cars now or something? Doesn't he, Frankie Muniz?
I don't know, but you know the elder son in Malcolm in the Middle? He's the intelligence officer in Starship Troopers. And you know the senior commander...
Hauser?
Yeah, and you know the senior commander in Starship Troopers? That's Uncle Hank in Breaking Bad.
Hey, Michael Ironside?
No, not Michael Ironside. He's... oh, God, what's the name of... Hank... from Breaking Bad.
Hank Schrader.
Breaking Bad.
Shit! Yeah, I know you mean.
Who's that actor?
I remember him from. Did you ever watch Medium? He was somebody's brother-in-law, and they called him a weasel. That's what I remember him as.
So right. So Dean Norris, that's who he is. Yeah, he was in Starship Troopers.
I know what you mean, yeah.
He's the commanding
He's been
officer.
in a lot of things, hasn't he?
He was in what do you call it? Arnie on Mars.
Shit! Yeah, he was the dude with the thing on his face. He was the dude with the shrimp on his face.
Wait, Dean Norris was in Total Recall. Hang on,
He's a bloke with a foam shrimp on his face.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. Dean Norris. Right, so actor Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Here we go.
I want to see.
We're circling back to Stan Winston again. I think Stan Winston did a lot of effects for that, didn't he?
Total Recall. There's 2 mentions of Total Recall.
Oh shit, he was a member of the SWAT team in Terminator 2 as well.
Oh yeah, that's a damn mini. Oh my god. Cool. Yeah. So in Total Recall, he plays a guy called Tony.
Yeah, he's the guy with the foam shrimp on his face. Do you remember foam shrimp? Those sweets when you were a kid.
I always preferred the chocolate mice.
Yeah, but you remember foam shrimp though, don't you? He always it looked like a foam shrimp. It wasn't very good. The effects were good, but they weren't that good.
Hang on, okay, right. I'm seeing Look Who's Talking, Total Recall Remastered, and yeah, that's Dean Norris. It's I didn't recognise him because he's just he's got the Cornish pasty on his head.
Open your mind, Quaid. Remember? Do you remember Open Your Mind?
You have nourishing your face around here, Hauser.
You saw her. Do you remember that? Like
you saw her. I saw her. We all saw her.
Yeah. You remember that? No. Open your mind. Open your mind.
Yeah.
That's from Total Recall. That's when Quato says to Arnie, he goes, "Open your mind, Quaid. Open your mind."
Oh well, there was this song by Andy C, and it had this bit at the end saying, "This communication has been terminated due to atmospheric interference." That's they're Starship Troopers. But
do you remember when Ronnie Cox was in his golden period in the 80s, like Total Recall, RoboCop?
It's always a big CEO bad guy.
Yeah. Because apparently before that, he used to play kind of nice guy like putzes, didn't he? And then all of a sudden, he just became like the evil guy.
Yeah, I remember Michael Ironside was in a lot of movies, and then he just sort of gave up.
Oh, he was in V, wasn't he?
He was the best person in V.
Yeah, he was Ham. Ham in V.
Ham Tyler, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of I liked him in RoboCop. I thought he was really good in that.
Who?
Michael Ironside.
He wasn't in RoboCop.
He was in Total Recall, you mean?
Yeah,
he was in Total Recall, but Michael Ironside.
Oh yeah, do you remember Ian says, the Freddy Krueger guy, Robert England. Do you remember Robert England in V, Dom?
Yeah.
When he played that
kept mispronouncing everything.
Fucking spastic retard, wasn't he?
Wait. What? Hang on. I am sure. No, let me look at RoboCop.
Michael Ironside was never in RoboCop.
I'm sure he was.
There's some kind of RoboCop
mixed up with Starship Troopers, I bet.
No, they're 2 very different films.
Yeah, but they were both directed by that Dutch geezer.
Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah.
Well, Kurtwood Smith's in it, and I definitely don't get him and Michael Ironside mixed up.
But no, it's like, are you doing another? It's like
I'm sure.
Are you telling me that there's a reality out there?
Know
with
how
Ironside as,
Clarence Boddicker No, I'm not saying he's Clarence Boddicker. I'm saying Clarence Boddicker reported to Michael Ironside's character in RoboCop.
No.
I think you're getting confused because Ronnie Cox was in charge of Michael Ironside in Total Recall.
This may be a Mandela effect, but I'm sure Michael Ironside was in RoboCop.
Imagine that, Michael Ironside as Clarence Boddicker. That would have been fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
Well, Kurtwood Smith did a good job of it.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he didn't do a good job of it, but that would have been fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
So anyway, Fraser, what's this about burning simulation? Come on, this is the crux of the matter. What's that all about?
I don't think we've got enough time to do simulation. We've only got 20 minutes left to do simulation.
Fuck you. We're doing it. We're doing it live.
We're going to cram
Fuck it.
We're going to cram
We'll do it live.
I don't know, man. The fucking videos are like 20 minutes each.
How dare you say fucking?
Fucking, yeah.
Don't say fuck or bugger. They're the two rules, Fraser.
Fuck's sake.
It's so crude, you fucking
bugger, man.
bugger.
Bugger. Jesus.
You fucking bugger. You've done it again. It's every single time we do the show, and it's like...
Avid Marion used to be funny before he was Keith
It's a verb, man.
Unfortunately, I do remember when Avid Merriam was funny. Now, for those of you who weren't aware in the before time, there was this guy called Lee Francis, and he did a character called Avid Merriam, and he was funny. And he was funny, you see, because what he'd do is take the piss out of celebrities. But then Lee Francis is like, actually, no, I really like celebrities because I'm a fucking northern wanker. I'm from up north. My name's Lee Francis. I'm northern. I'm Lee Francis. Anyway, here's Celebrity Wank Off.
Oh, little known fact: the guy that used to direct.
I hate Lee Francis.
Little known fact: the guy that used to direct League of Gentlemen actually directed the first series of Little Britain. If you watch the first series of Little Britain, the reason it's so dark is because that's why.
Is that the one
where the mate used to fancy the nan, and like there was that. Like,
it's like the same one with one bitty and just like breastfed.
Yes.
The darkest
by the way,
from the first series.
By the way, are you thinking Clarence Boddicker reported to Bob Morton, played by Miguel Ferrer? Is that who you're confusing with Michael Ironside?
No, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's confusing the fact that Ronnie Cox was in Total Recall.
Maybe he wasn't in. Maybe like Michael Ironside wasn't in RoboCop, but he was in RoboCop.
Here's a question for you. Why does nobody give Total Recall the credit it deserves? The fact that you can actually watch it and think that, oh shit, he actually was in the simulation. Speaking of theory. Like that's equally possible because, like the girly dreams off is shown on the screen when they're implanting the memories. Like he actually thinks he's a super agent.
And when he goes to get when he gets the memory installed in the first place, they go, oh, and they basically. The guy tells him the whole premise of the plot, the technician guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the plot plays out.
Yeah, and you see it all in the background. You see the whole Martian water facility. You see the whole bit. And like no one ever talks about that. Everyone thinks that, oh yeah, he wasn't having a dream. But I think he was.
This is like r/Stephen J. James fan theories tier.
It's not fan theory, Hobbit. It's all there. It's fucking laid out for you.
I'm saying this is very Reddit.
It's very Reddit. What do you mean it's very Reddit? Nobody ever says. When have you last seen like the drinker going, "Oh yeah, Total Recall"?
When have I last watched?
But no, he doesn't do that because he doesn't do that level of like, watching films.
Well, it kind of gives you the ending you want, because if you're like a get the girl, kill the baddies type of person, then you go with that ending. Whereas if you're kind of like a proper sci-fi twisty type person, then they get the real ending.
No, you're both wrong. It's great, and Arnold Schwarzenegger exterminates les copains de Monsieur Sarkozy. Who's the current president of France? Is it Mr. Sarkozy?
I think it's Sarkozy. I wouldn't put money on it, but I think it is.
He's got lots of boyfriends who are, as Alphabet Cat says, why not use the French thing is, boyfriends of Mr. Sarkozy. Yeah. You know when he says, I've got 7 kids to feed, and then Arnie Schwarzenegger puts the drill through machine. The car
I got
he's in.
5 kids to feed.
I thought you had 7. Shit, I ain't even married.
I'm telling you, Hobbit, watch it again. Watch it. Pay close
Total
attention
Recall?
to when they're putting the memories in his head. That's where it all starts. That's where
you know what? I'm going to watch Total Recall, and I'm going to with blackjack and hookers, and it's going to be great. Unlike your stupid gay Solaris version of Total Recall.
I still haven't watched Solaris. Did you watch Solaris in the original?
What if Solaris was just all their magic? Yes, I did. What if Solaris is all
just in their mind? Is it the original Russian or the original French? I think you said it was.
It's in the original Russian. It's a Russian film. I've seen it. You haven't.
Yeah,
I outrank you in this.
I will admit that I haven't seen it.
Okay, I have seen it, and it's in Russian. And yeah, I have no.
I saw Solaris in the original Russian. And
it was gay and really pretentious. It was trying to be highbrow, but actually it was just confusing, and it really sucked. Except for the motorway scene. My dad liked that scene. My dad was just like, oh, look at the Soviet Russia. They've got these interchanges and stuff. This is really futuristic for 1970s. Like, oh wow, it's a multi-story overpass. Yeah, we've only had that in London since the 1950s. That bit really excited my dad. He was just like, look, Russians, they've got functional civilization too. So?
Just about.
Only in a sci-fi film.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, but the thing is that this was actual footage from real Russian overhead junctions. So, right, they needed to show a transition where they were going faster than light to another planet, and they decided the way to do that was to record some footage of going on Russian overhead flyovers, but
Hobbit,
speed it up.
I'll tell you what a really good sci-fi film is. Sunshine.
I think we've had this discussion before, Henry, haven't we? Is this just wind-up Hobbit hour? Oh, look, Hobbit's
How
been
much alcohol is involved? Then yes.
Look, I will say the one thing about Sunshine, it makes the core look believable.
It's like, imagine you was to do...
unobtainium.
Imagine you were to do Event Horizon, but it was rubbish. I think that's how you sum up Sunshine, isn't it?
No.
You mean more rubbish?
No, right. So no, you're both wrong and you're stupid, and I have to vehemently disagree with you. Right. What the problem with Sunshine is so many things. Basically, they took the core and they were just like, what if we made the core but even more retarded and unbelievable? Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm Danny Boyle. I'm just going to huff prostitute farts and cocaine now. Yeah. And
why was that bloke still alive?
I fucking hate it. Anyway,
why was the bloke still alive on the spaceship?
So, yeah, you may have noticed there's this bit in Sunshine where they go, oh, look, it's the abandoned spaceship from 4. Now, shall we go and complete our mission, which everybody on Earth is depending on us to do, or shall we go and do a Scooby-Dooby mystery tour? Like, hey, it's a mystery to be unsolved here. It's like, or shall we go, you know what, let's go back to it once we've saved everybody on Earth, then we can investigate the mystery of the Mary Celeste in space.
Yeah.
They might as well have just called it Spooky Scooby-Doo Mary Celeste Ghost Ship.
It's Mr. Jenkins that was the Burning Man.
Mr. I know, they'd got away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling hippies.
Those meddling astronauts.
I think I've just figured out the reason you believe in the fairy tale romantic ending of Total Recall, Hobbit.
You mean the correct ending?
No,
it's the scene... The scene they put in that makes no sense, right? The bad guys want him to be in this deluded state to lead them to the resistance. Yeah. Yet they put in this scene where they send a doctor and say, oh, take this pill and you'll wake up and it'll all be over.
Yeah.
And then he notices that there's a bead of sweat going down him. He's like, oh, why are you sweating then? And he shoots him. And that scene makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So that I think that scene alone throws you off.
That scene literally is just him sussing out, they're duping me, they're hoping they can pull one over, And they know I'm capable of great violence.
Watch Total Recall again and pay more attention to the bit where he's in Total
What?
Recall.
If they were duping him, they wouldn't want him to
I will watch this film and I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'm going to get back to you and it's like, yeah, you're both wrong, you're full of shit, fuck you.
You're not a Hobbit. You just got to pay more attention to the bit where he's in Total Recall.
You can't. Okay, you know what? You're not allowed to watch this film anymore.
But a lot of it does. I will give you Hobbit. A lot of it doesn't make sense. Like, why is it they just want him to pretend?
I will remember it for you wholesale. Is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rescind. I'm going to rescind. I'm going to rescind your memories of the film because you don't deserve to see it. You've clearly proven that you're not fans of the film. You can't appreciate it as much as I do. Ergo, your viewing privileges have been rescinded. There. You can't appreciate the film on the levels I can.
What's Alphabet talking about? He said there was another version of Total Recall that was made in 2012. I don't know what he's talking about.
It was fucking dog shit.
Yeah, with
no, you don't get what I'm saying. There was another version that was made in 2012. I've never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about, Alphabet Cat. I think it's a Mandela effect, Alphabet Cat. It never happened.
Yes, we all try and pretend the 2012 remake never happened.
Yeah, but Hobbit. Isn't it better that he goes to Australia instead of Mars?
What?
You don't remember Total Recall? He goes to Mars through an elevator that goes through the middle of the Earth. Do you not remember that?
That film is fucking shit, and is this just like shit on Hobbit? It's like, hey Hobbit, do you remember Mall Cops? That was a good film, wasn't it?
Mall Cops was good.
And right. in the Total Recall, in the original Total Recall, he's got the
Brokeback Mountain. That was a great movie.
He's got Sharon Stone, the blonde, and then he's got his love interest, the brunette.
To be fair, the birds are better in Total Recall.
Well, no, in the remake, he's got the director's wife as one of the women, and another bird that looks exactly like her as the other one.
It's Jessica Biel and what's her name? Kate Beckinsale, isn't it?
I fucking hated Slumdog Millionaire. That was a shit film. God damn. Right, okay, so here's it. Who wants to be a 6 million rupiah, which is equivalent to £60,000? And it's like, wow, what can I get with £60,000? I don't know, a council flat in Teesside? the premise of Slumdog Millionaire is like, oh, look at this Indian boy, he's had a charming life, he's been blinded, so now he can beg better. Because, oh, look at the poor blind boy. You know what that film says? India's a terrible country, and we didn't do enough. We should have killed them all.
Is Danny Boyle just living off of Trainspotting?
Danny Boyle is living off of heroin, cocaine, and prostitute farts, and that's why his brain is just mush.
Yeah.
You know the other thing I really hate about Slumdog Millionaire? This isn't Danny Boyle's fault, although it is his fault for making the film.
Yeah.
People saying it's the feel-good film of the year. What? In what way, okay, so I am not, as you know, particularly fond of the Indians, but who goes and watches a scene where, a 5-year-old boy is being blinded by this pervy old Indian bloke so that he can be a better beggar, and go, oh, this really makes me feel good? Or the scene where he goes, oh, a celebrity's come to my village, I'll just jump down through this toilet, which is literally just a hole above a river, swim through the shit, and then go up to meet him, just covered in shit from head to toe. What's feel good about that? Has anybody actually seen this film and then genuinely said, oh, this film was feel good?
It seems like Danny Boyle seems to like bits with people who swim through the rivers of shit.
If I could meet Danny Boyle in real life, what I would do is give him 48 cans of Brewdog IPA and make him drink it all in one sitting, because he'd really like that. Because he really likes IPAs.
Yeah.
Fuck Danny Boyle.
I think he's done 3 good films. It was Trainspotting,
Lies.
28 Days Later,
Lies,
and The Beach.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
wasn't he the one that gave us Fast Zombies?
Yeah, so Danny Boyle has done nothing good ever, confirmed.
Well, Trainspotting's a good movie.
Fucking
It
not.
was in its time. Probably doesn't stand up
It's
now.
fucking not. It's a fucking shit.
Really? I thought that movie was pretty.
You know what? You know. I just like I'm throwing shit at the wall here, saying he sniffs prostitute farts when he does lines of coke up
Fraser's biopic.
But
Trainspotting.
But the thing is, I'm actually seeing there's a common theme in here. Like, I haven't watched all of his films, but I'm pretty sure there's like a scene where someone's got to swim through shit in all of them. Slumdog Millionaire and Trainspotting got scenes where they're swimming through shit to get to somewhere.
You mean like Tarantino's foot fetish? That's Danny Boyle's thing.
It's basically that Garth Marenghi sketch, the writer's barely disguised fetish. Oh, it seems my computer's trying to take off at the moment. I guess GCHQ doesn't appreciate my views of Total Recall and Danny Boyle's shit filmography.
What is that? I don't know. Trainspotting. I don't know. Does Danny Boyle still make?
No, you're right. You don't know Hemi.
No,
there's nothing to defend it. Just agree with me. Just say, you know what, Hobbit, you're right on this one.
I can't defend Trainspotting, but that was like more a time than time and a place than an actual movie, isn't it?
Swimming through shit.
Yeah, but it was like that Twin Town. Do you remember Twin Town, Hobbit?
No, I do remember Dark City. That was a good film.
Twin Town was Trainspotting, but if it was in Wales. Oh God, his name's Danny Francis Boyle.
Shall I read out this Times of Israel thing by Jewish Gandalf?
Oh, he did the Steve Jobs biopic.
You know what? I just if I never have to watch a Danny Boyle film,
he did the London 2012 Olympic opening ceremony. How did you forget that?
Well, I didn't know that was by him, but that explains a lot. And now I really dislike him, and I want to give him 96 Brewdog IPAs in one sitting, not 48.
How about the film Vacuuming Completely Nude in Paradise?
You know what? I really don't like Danny Boyle. I'd rather watch all of Uwe Boll. I'd rather watch all of Uwe Boll's filmography, than have to sit for a single Danny Boyle film.
He did 2 episodes of Inspector Morse as well.
So anyway, this article by Moshe Mordecai van Zuiden did dislike certain ethnicities as racist.
Moshe's one of my favourite journalists.
Well, Moshe, actually, you know what I'm going to say here is too, because I think I like this guy. Anyway, we need to thank Whoopi Goldberg and many who answered her so well with the renewed realization that anti-Semitism is racism. Jews are not overprivileged. Just like Asians living in the diaspora, Jews just work super hard to try and get a handle on the oppression. That's not privilege, that's sweat, blood and tears. And white phosphorus. However, there is a good reason not to call just anti-Semitism only a form of racism.
Can we remind people about the Balfour Declaration that the Jews were not to interfere in any way with the existing population?
Well, that's very anti-Semitic of Lord Balfour, and he should apologise for that. They should exhume him from the grave and... just a minute. I just got a reply to a text. Right, now that's done. However, there's good reason not just to call anti-Semitism a form of racism. It's an animal with very specific rules, since there is no culture or religion like the Jewish one.
Nope.
Isn't that
Why is it anti-Semitic? It's anti-globalist.
Isn't that a bit like exceptionalist? Aren't you saying you're anyway?
You're special, yeah.
It's an animal with very specific rules.
I'd just like to remind Moshe that it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done with which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country.
Well, I'm sure Rishi Sunak will take time to apologise for the Balfour Declaration, but I would like to disavow the Balfour Declaration and apologise to Jewish Gandalf here, because as he says here, Moish,
to be fair, he looks more like was it? Oh fuck! What was that creature in Master of the Universe?
As Moishi the Grey,
Gwildor.
Well,
Yeah,
oh yes. Now, as Moishi the Grey says
as
here,
Wildor says.
Yeah. While all peoples are unique, some are more special than others, which doesn't mean, as adorable as we are, that we're more worthy than others. To be specific, when G, a greater than symbol, D, calls us the apple of his eye, he doesn't mean he's going to treat us with favouritism. Instead, he means that he'll hold us to a higher standard. Sing chickens. But to make things complicated for starters, when bigots hold Jews to a higher standard,
though, didn't he?
Yeah. But to make things complicated for starters, when bigots hold Jews to a higher standard, that's, you guessed it, bigotry. So what, you're saying God is a bigot? Oh, sorry, when you're saying G, greater than symbol G...
What if God was a bigot?
When we Jews live up to our potential, we are equal to Gentiles who live up to their potential. Brackets, if the latter could live up to the Jewish standard, they are invited to join us Jews. Race is actually...
Holocaust porn?
I don't know. Race is actually culture. We're all Homo sapiens sapiens. No, fuck off with this thing. One race, Western racists, brackets Nazis, got obsessed with genetics, build and skin colour. But and also skull shapes and what's the thing? Blood types.
Completely wrong about Hobbit.
And sensitivity to various medicines and diets, including certain intolerances to various foods noticed amongst various. Let's call them subspecies of Homo sapiens. Now, so anyway, he says this stuff. Considering one ethnicity, one culture better or worse than all others is racism. No one is completely defined by their background identity. And among all pastry, you have bad cookies. What? Cookies aren't a form of pastry.
What?
Don't discriminate. What?
Did you hear what the Hasidic Jews did? They neutralised all the alkaline Jews.
Yes. You can test whether Jews are Hasidic or not using litmus paper. Now,
so basically, if they'd have dumped a load of Hasidic Jews on Burning Man, then everything would have been alright, wouldn't it?
Well, they just needed more Hasidics at Burning Man to neutralise things.
Yeah.
So again, he's saying don't discriminate, but I'm not going to eat a bad cookie. Yes,
I'm certainly not going to eat cookies from somebody who thinks that cookies are pastry.
Yeah. Well, there is a Greek pastry thing, which no, it's not. No, it doesn't count.
Oh no! Yeah. Wait a minute. What we call cookies biscuits, and Americans call biscuits things that are pastry. Those pastry things. So there you go.
Yeah, but isn't an American biscuit just a scone?
Yeah,
yes, it is. I'm reliably informed that they are scones. They're more like cheese. They're more like cheese scones, Hobbit.
Hang on.
What?
I'm replying. Right now that's done. Right. Yeah, Jews are only one nation, not just based on practice, location, or beliefs. Jews are the only people based on an assignment.
Jewish forward, and
the ADL. Fucking
clean green black.
Is this correct?
I'm just.
What I'm saying here.
I'm just sending a tweet to John from Greenblatt and just say, can you tell me if Jewish Gandalf is being racist here? To be G greater than symbol D's ambassadors on Earth fighting for the good of everyone. That means when one says that Jews are just like everyone else, you're a bigot, you don't need to look down on Jews to be anti-Semitic.
All I said was that piece of halibut was good enough for Jehovah.
Wait. To be anti-Semitic, you don't have to look down on them, you just have to say we're equal to them.
Yes. Okay. When our parents...
They're apples and we're oranges, I think that's what you're trying to say.
I see, right.
When our parents say they want to be our friends, that's nice, but we better also respect them as teachers. Totally equalising them is demeaning them and arrogant of us. When Jews say they want to be everyone's friends and allies, that's nice, but Gentiles better also give them respect as their teachers. Totally equalising... This guy feels a bit preachy. Gandalf wouldn't say this stuff.
Yeah.
totally equalise them as demeaning them and arrogant. I assume NB means nota bene. We are not Christians, older brother. Too many older brothers in the Hebrew Bible passed over by younger sibs. We are their parents.
Fucking hell.
No, you're not.
Jesus Christ. Does this dude bear some grudges or what?
But it's also wrong. I mean, you've not read. No, the thing with rabbis is, in order to train for that, you have to read all the religious texts in the world. And well, if you read the Bible, you must have skimmed over it and ignored the bit where Jesus said you're the synagogue of Satan, you're of your father the devil, and you're not of the tribe of Jacob. Anyway.
Also, the Jews were the first to come up with an AI. They called it Ben Shapiro.
So being against mixed marriages is racist. Here we go. And the idea that Jews should be no different than Gentiles already implies opposing Jews, as if they should adjust to majority norms. Now, somehow this has got something to do with Burning Man. Being against mixed marriages.
Is he going to come back round to Burning Man at some point?
Well, this you got to do it from the Jewish perspective. I mean, this is times of Israel. Being against mixed marriages is racist. Well, you just said it's wrong to integrate Jews and make them assimilate. Yeah, look, here it says, just the paragraph before, the idea of Jews to be no different Gentiles already implies opposing Jews, as if they should adjust to majority norms, integrate and assimilate away. Being against mixed marriages is racist.
How fucking dare you expect them to assimilate?
Just hang on. I know
the thing with the Jews, though, are they a race or are they a religion? Or are they both, or are they one or the other? It seems to be convenient to be one or the other.
Well, it's the same as Islam,
here's a cake, and here's you eating it. You can have both.
Look, I know, Jews have a preponderance to schizophrenia. I'm sorry, again, that bigotry of understanding statistical analysis.
How dare you expect him to conform to neurotypical norms, Hobbit?
Well, it's just, on the one hand, you're saying, it's as if they should adjust to it. So you're saying that the Jews should keep their culture and traditions and not integrate, and that means not have mixed marriages. However, and this is the bit where he says, this is the very next sentence, being against mixed marriages is racist. Two cultures in one couple enrich both partners, but many Jews marrying out helps Jews to die out. It also means going along with self-hatred, as if anything non-Jewish would give a personal safe passage out of the anti-Semitic danger zone.
Earl Pipes cleared it up for us. He said, it's wrong to assimilate them, and it's also wrong not to assimilate them, Hobbit.
Yeah, because it's matriarchal, isn't it? So
it's matrilineal, not matrilineal.
That's it. Matrilineal.
Yeah, but they do have a matriarchy. Am I saying you can't have it both ways and you shouldn't be doing this? Well, anyway, European and Arab Jews marrying each other is enough marrying out.
For considering doing both, says Earl
Pipe. Wait, what? They're even complaining about Arab Jews and.
Yeah, so he's saying right here. So I assume he's been Ashkenazi and Sephardic. Well, this is oh my god, how long does this go on for? This article? Okay, it's not. We're about three words with it. 1/3. No, right. Arab and right. So
nothing to do with a Burning Man.
European and Arab Jews, yeah, but it was in that picture. Look, the Times of Israel, to just to see burners as equals anti. Oh, do you think he was? This is photoshopped. Oh yeah, because to see So burners.
It's in a different font, isn't it? On there?
Sorry, yeah, because look, in the original article, it's. I think we can still read this article, but the original article, burners is replaced with Jews. To see Jews as burners is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
This is your God. It's funny because it's true. They are Canaanites. They are of Canaan. And this Burning Man thing, it's just a Canaanite, Carthaginian, Punic, Phoenician ritual. Oh, and this is the other thing. I was having a big argument with some other people because a game I play called Dominations, they're featuring pictures of Hannibal Barca. He's the new well, he's not the new general, but anyway, there's this new portrait of Hannibal Barca, and he looks like not a sub-Saharan African. He looks like an African American because I've now seen enough difference between Africans and American Africans where I can say
have a lot of whiteness in there, don't they?
So anyway, they depicted Hannibal Barca.
Is Hannibal Barca the guy with the elephants?
Hannibal Barca was his.
Hannibal Barca now because he used to be just Hannibal.
The father of Hannibal the Great was Hannibal Barca, who was also a general who fought in the First Punic War.
Right.
So imagine if like
this Dominations is a conquest game.
Yeah, it's basically Empire Earth or Age of Empires, but on mobile.
So wait,
no, I'd be expecting something else if I downloaded that, but never
mind. We know how you think, though, Dom, so that's understandable. Now, the thing is, right, I got in this argument with it because I just saw they're blackwashing history, they're depicting Hannibal Barca, a Carthaginian, as an African American. He's not. And then someone says, oh, you're being racist. Look, he's clearly African. Carthage was an African nation. I was like, yeah, but so is Egypt. I mean, the fact that Carthaginians, they are a colony of the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians are a Levantine people. They're Canaanites. They worship Baal-Hamon and Tanit and Moloch, which, as far as I'm concerned, is all the same thing. You sacrifice babies to these effigies. And, he was... If you want to see what a Carthaginian looks like, you just got to look at... Well, actually, there's quite a good depiction of it. They got this Israeli actor born in Tel Aviv to play Hannibal, and I looked at him and thought, yeah, that's a Carthaginian, all right. Queen Dido founded Carthage in 800 BC, that's before Christ, or BC.
I think they can... I think these historical characters can be whatever race they want. You know, Hannibal Barca, Anne Boleyn.
Well, yeah. He's calling for, what is it, fucking Mao Zedong to be portrayed by a black guy.
I've got to give props to the Egyptians because they're actually taking Netflix to court, aren't they, over the clip.
Over what, Cleopatra being white? Yeah.
Black. They made blacked her up, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Exactly,
so the thing is,
she was part of the Greek dynasty, wasn't she?
Yeah.
This sort of I call it the American bigotry of thinking that all of Africa looks like African Americans. So it's like there is, believe it or not, a fair bit of diversity in Africa, what with it being a continent.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Egyptians, what with them being Egyptians, look quite distinct from Sub-Saharan Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't, and Cleopatra was not a fat black African American woman with afro. She was her name was Cleopatra Ptolemy, and she was the descendant of King Ptolemy, who was one of the generals of Alexander the Great, who conquered most of the known world in 300 BCE.
Alexander the Great, as we know, looks like Colin Farrell.
Speaks with an Irish accent.
Yeah, yes. Well, as we all know, Macedonia... Oh, well, that's because, you see, Alexander the Great came from Ireland, so that's why.
The Macedonians, they were Irish. Who's that guy you watch of it? The one who says everybody's Irish?
Michael Sarian, that's it. The Irish origins of
Atlanteans,
civilization now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed in Alexander, because Colin Farrell speaks with an Irish accent, they made all the other actors speak with an Irish accent as well.
not like Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, where they just go, just fucking whatever, just do whatever you want to do it.
Oh, even worse is what's his name in Robin Hood?
Oh, Russell Crowe. Do you remember that when he stormed out that interview because they pulled him up on his accent? You see the Russell Crowe Robin Hood Hobbit?
Oh no. I haven't seen any.
Watch
I think
mate.
the only
Watch mate. You'll fucking love it, mate.
The only Robin Hood film I saw was the Technicolor one, and my dad was bored with it, so I only saw a bit of it. I think I'll have to watch it again at some point.
Oh, Technicolor.
If you watch the
Russell... what's his name? Errol Flynn.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. If you watch the Russell Crowe version, I would suggest doing some psychedelic drugs beforehand or hardcore drugs afterwards.
Interdimensional Lizard said the true spelling Cleopatra. He's got it there. So I believe Cleopatra was shot by cops for being black. Pregnant and trying to run over one of the policemen.
That's it. Alphabet Cat says Kevin Costner, Robin Hood. Thing I love about that, go from Dover to Nottingham in 3 days on horseback. There we go. Men in Tights. I was just about to mention Men in Tights. Men in Tights, the superior Robin Hood.
Was that the guy from Prince? Was that the guy from Princess Bride that was the main guy in that?
Carrie Elwes, yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Really don't. Hobbit, you still there, Robert?
I'm still here. It's just friends telling me
Have
about
you seen Men in Tights, Hobbit? Robin Hood.
I never watched it. That was Kevin Costner.
Do you not like Mel Brooks films?
Hey Hobbit, you there, Hobbit? Hey Hobbit, have you heard about this thing?
Yeah.
I thought Kevin Costner was in that.
No, Men in Tights is the comedy one.
Yeah, that's Kevin Costner, isn't it?
No.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights?
No, that's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
So is there a film with Kevin Costner as Robin Hood?
Yes.
Yeah, Prince of Thieves.
That's
the one of...
There was, and then they
Morgan
did
Freeman.
oh shit, who was in the other one, Dom? They did the 2 Robin Hood films at the same, and like one of them sunk without trace, didn't they? There's Robin Hood, Men in... got me out.
Oh, didn't one have Leslie Nielsen?
No. Shit, what was his name? Patrick Bergin. There was the Patrick Bergin Robin Hood that was made at the same time that it just sunk without try. You know, Hollywood likes to make 2 films of exactly the same thing at the same time.
Oh well, Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah.
Is that where, both of the directors have been to the same bar mitzvah and they'd be like,
apparently Armageddon, I know about Armageddon and Deep Impact. What happened was, I think it was Disney fucked off one of their major executives, or Warner Brothers did. So he went to a rival studio and told them everything they were making. So they made their own version of it all.
All right. So the reason
there's Ants and A Bug's Life released at the same time.
Yeah, this is
Turner and Hooch's K9 released at the same time.
Yeah.
I was being told by a friend that in America, a quality of steel is known as tin plate, and that's what's used for making tin cans.
Yeah.
And so in America, they only have half the manufacturing capacity to fill about half the demand for tin plate. So it's not going to. They're increasing taxes on foreign tin plate. So it's not going to increase the domestic company's market share. It's just going to make it more expensive to import all the tin plate we're always going to need. So it costs more to manufacture cans. So it costs more to buy tinned food. So America is gonna. Tinned food in America is going to get more expensive because. So
it's not that it's cutting into their manufacturing then. So they're not.
No, it's not. They're just like, well, look, we're going to put a tariff on this stuff we need. We don't have the manufacturing capacity for.
Finding Nemo and a Shark's Tale. What are the 2 volcano films?
Life.
There's the 2 volcano films as well, aren't there?
But Bugs and Ants
Life. Me and Megamind.
What's the one with Sylvester Stallone in it?
Judge Dredd?
No, the Bugs and an Ant's Life.
Ants. He's in Ants.
Wait, A Bug's Life and Ants then?
Yeah. Ants has got Woody Allen in, isn't it?
What's the one where like the crickets are keeping the ants like oppressed?
That's a Bug's Life.
Ants, Hobbit.
Well, I haven't seen either of these fucking films, so how would I know?
Bug's Life has got Dennis Hopper as Hopper.
Yeah. That's killed the conversation, Dom. That's it.
Ants says Norm Macdonald had the best Sylvester Stallone story. Really?
Oh, A Bug's Life has Kevin Spacey as the bad bug. Does he get forgiven at the end? He just goes, "I'm gay."
Just like all the people that were witnessed this.
There's no one left to...
I was going to say all the witnesses ended up in unfortunate anteater accidents.
I never quite understood the Superman film with Kevin Spacey in it, because it was just like, oh look, I'm watching Superman 1 again, but it's not as good.
It's the same as RoboCop 2.
And Superman, for some inexplicable reason, as a son now. Right, are we done? I think we're grinding gears now, aren't we? Unless you to add, Hobbit.
Well, I was just going to say, listen to Emotion FM Vice City soundtrack, and also before then, watch the Architect sketch on the Monty Python Architect sketch. YouTube recommended it to me. I was just like, oh, okay, they're talking about Freemasons. This is quite good.
Watch the Spike Milligan waiter sketch.
Wait, was Spike Milligan in
around the world? You've not seen that one?
Oh God, I can imagine that being horribly problematic.
Israel. It's waiter. There's a fly in my soup. And that's 50p extra.
I was going to say King of Oyster, where everybody will want one.
Yeah. No, that'll be 50p extra.
Yeah. Oh, my favourite is he's the Pakistani Dalek who's just come back from the tube. The dog's barking at him, so he zaps him, and he exterminates him.
Oh God, it's Pakistani Dalek in it, I think.
What do you mean, the cunny? Oh wait, okay. So someone tell me, like,
oh God, I have to think what they call it.
Well, the thing is, we actually have a lot of British things that we figured out how to make with cornmeal because corn was more abundant than wheat for a while. Yeah. So, do you know what the American bastardized version of Toad in the Hole is?
Well, I don't know.
Would it be corn?
Yes.
Their Yorkshire puddings are called popovers, apparently.
Popovers?
Yeah. Well, the closest thing they have.
The Americans,
that's what
the Americans. Be. I'd like to apologise to the world for the Americans on behalf of England.
I've had a corn dog as well. Yeah, I
thought it was alright.
It's nasty.
I thought corn dogs were alright.
Wait, can they even make Yorkshire pudding over there? Do they even know how to make it?
Well, if they're if popovers are them, then yeah.
Well, they think the rind. The Yanks remind me of that Harry Hill sketch. You know, the one when he said, "My dad," he said, "was ever so good to me when I was a kid." He said he used to eat the lollipop. He said because they were poisonous. He said the stick, that's the best bit. And it's like someone's done that to the Yanks about bacon, haven't they? You know, the rind, that's the best bit. I'll eat the meat for you. The best, that's poisonous. You eat the rind, that's the best bit.
Wait, let me have a look. I thought American bacon was streaky bacon.
What's it called?
No, it's like fucking rind. It looks like rind, though, doesn't it? It's more fat. It's more fat than it is bacon, isn't it? It's not proper bacon.
What's that thing called? What do they call Yorkshires in America? Popover.
Popover. All one word.
Popover.
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 Pop.
Why is there fucking pop? There's no popping involved. What is wrong with Yanks, honestly?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia.
Oh my God, that is sacrilegious. What the fuck is that?
Hobbit, do you want me to read the BBC website?
I'm looking at the Wikipedia article of bacon, and to me it just looks like in the pan they've got streaky bacon.
Right, so how to make a popover, Hobbit?
Yeah.
So you heat the oven, blah blah blah. Muffin tin, blah blah blah. So it's
It's a fucking muffin. Why are they putting it in muffin tins?
So
what
it's
the fuck?
so it's vegetable oil for cooking, which Hobbit would be offended by.
Use lard.
I mean, to be honest, they don't look bad.
150 grams of plain flour, 4 eggs, and 200 grams of milk. That's wrong, isn't it? That's not.
You make
pudding.
a pancake batter.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what Yorkshire pudding basically is, Hobbit. Did you not know?
Well, yeah, here's the weird thing though. Like, where does the gravy go?
But that's too much egg.
The gravy.
I think that's too much egg. And it's the way I remember it is 2, 3, 4. So I think it might be 4 eggs. But it's like it might be 200 milk and then 3. I think there's like not enough flour in that.
You crack eggs and then you add flour and milk until you've got a pancake consistency. I mean, I don't know how to.
That's how you make Yorkshire.
Apparently, like Americans like their batter to be thicker because when I make a pancake, it's quite thinny, and they say, "Oh, you're not making pancakes, you're making crepes." And I was like, "Well, this is how I know to make a pancake." Like, forgive me from knowing like most of my cuisine. Is that why it's less
flour and more egg? Then is it to make it thicker?
Yeah, probably.
That seems quite eggy.
How many eggs is it? 4.
4 eggs.
Wait,
you don't use 4. Use 2.
Can you give me a link to the article? I want to show the recipe.
It's BBC Good Food. So.
All right, BBC Good Food. Let me see. BBC
there you go,
Good. Where have you put the link?
General.
Oh yeah, there we go. Right, copy link.
I mean, they do look good still, but like, yeah.
I'm sure those ratios are off.
I kind of want some Yorkshire puddings now.
Describing, talking about this, and the ratios seem off. Just.
So
I mean, you can do.
Is.
Yeah,
this is all fucked up. So they're
Isn't
saying
that how
the
you
same.
make souffle?
So they're saying the same, but I'm sure those ratios are off.
Well, I don't use
BBC. Say it's the same, but they're saying 140 grams of flour.
I reckon BBC Good Food asked ChatGPT how to make it.
Yeah. Oh, Mary Berry. Let's see what Mary Berry says. Mary Berry's Yorkshire pudding recipe.
What about Good Housekeeping? What do Mumsnet say about Yorkshire pudding? What if I type in Yorkshire pudding?
Because 100 grams of plain flour, 3 large eggs, and 225 millilitres of milk.
What did QAnon say?
I think that's more. What does Snopes say? How does Snopes say we should make Yorkshire? Everybody,
here we go.
Put Yorkshire
Mary Berry's Yorkshire pudding recipe is easy and foolproof.
Yeah, so she says less eggs.
So this is Yorkshire pudding: 3.5 ounces of plain flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 large.
Do you know what Jamie
eggs.
Oliver thinks?
No, 8 fluid ounces of milk.
What
and 4 teaspoons of.
Jamie Oliver thinks it's two large free-range eggs, 100 grams of flour, and 100 mils of milk.
And 8 ounces of his spittle.
Why is it when Jamie Oliver speaks, it's like he's trying to spit out half a pound of liver?
Let's find. James Martin. James Martin's good because he bullies people in his kitchen.
Oh, does he? Oh, that's good.
Right. So, all right then. James Martin says 225 grams of flour, 8 eggs, 600 mils of milk.
What? How many is it making?
So he's saying
family of 4.
So you want to half that, don't you, for like a proper amount? So he's saying 300 mils of milk, 4 eggs, and 100.
What's that in old money?
I've never used more than like 2 or 3 eggs.
So half a pint of milk.
Very eggy, isn't it?
Well, why are they using these bloody like?
So he's saying.
Why are they using these German Kraut measurements? Yeah, pint of milk. No, 300
And he's
mils
also saying 2 ounces of dripping. You need the dripping in there, don't you?
Yeah. You want to use dripping or lard.
Yeah.
So since eggs and flour in different combinations cause such a variety
Keith Floyd's is
of
a bottle of
different
wine. Keith Floyd's would be a bottle of wine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, bottle of wine. But no, since those two ingredients cause such a wide variety of things, why aren't they on the periodic table?
Oh,
because they're not
right,
an
okay.
element. They're a
No,
compound, right?
no. Think about it. The menstrual table.
Oh right.
Oh God! How about this one? 80 grams of flour, 1 egg, 80 mils of milk, 60 millilitres of water. What are you making one there? Are you? What? Why?
That's a Yorkshire pudding shot.
Yeah, Yorkshire pudding shot.
A single Yorkshire pudding for the childless woman of 35.
Oh, there's some bird called Nikki. It's her idea now. Let's see what she says. Let's see what Nikki says.
Is that not a TikTok video?
Oh, Nikki, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blown my
Here's
mind
what you've
with your
been doing wrong.
recipes.
Here's what you've been doing wrong when you've been making Yorkshire puddings. We need a TikTok video that does that, don't we? Fucking hell, how about you give us some measurements, Nikki? For fuck's sake, love. Is this really Fortean? Is this alchemy? Is this alchemy making a proper Yorkie pud?
I've got
the definitive has got to be witch, hasn't it? Because witch, they test it all, don't they?
Once you've compiled your ingredients, place inside a dead horse.
Oh my God! Which are saying 1 large egg, 55 grams of plain flour, and 75 mils of milk.
Large eggs now. Fuck's sake, large eggs. Why are you getting ostrich egg? Yeah, that's a large egg, isn't it?
A goose egg.
You know what I think all these different recipes are? Different Mandela effects converging across different dimensions.
Shall we see what Delia's doing it again? The 75 grams of plain flour, 1 large egg, 75 grams of milk.
Fucking large eggs. What is a large egg?
Fuck no. Wait,
it's an ostrich egg.
Yeah, exactly. That's a large egg.
So Delia's saying that it's the ratio is 1-to-1 with milk and flour, then, isn't she? 75 grams, 75 mils.
I honestly, again, I'm just gonna. When I make pancakes, I put in 1 or 2 eggs, and then I add flour and milk to it to the point where I've got a runny consistency. If I was going to do Yorkshire puddings, I'd probably put more flour in it to make it a thicker batter. Yeah. And I think that's the way to do it. I mean, they got all these recipes, but the thing is, I've never measured
Fairy
it.
Morgana,
exactly.
Robert, you're going to have to have words, because Fairy Morgana does 70 grams of flour, 2 eggs, and 100 ml of milk.
Look,
you don't measure this shit. You go by fucking.
I've never had to measure this stuff before, and there's even been times where. Now, I don't agree with this, but the Belgians do it, and I've had them, and I find them perfectly acceptable.
I have found though, if you don't put enough egg in, it don't rise properly.
You substitute the milk for beer, and the reason you do that, you use proper beer with live yeast in it, so that it causes leavening. And I was trying to explain to my mum that no, lager isn't going to cause it to rise. She's like, but it's the bowls in it. It's like, then why don't you just use fizzy water and make a tempura batter? Because that's what you're saying to do. Look, I mean, if you
battered fish and chips,
well,
I mean, it's usually
Gordon
real
Ramsay's
ale.
recipe would involve a frying pan being thrown at you and you being called a cunt.
Well, the thing is, if you're gonna say, look. Oh, you've got to put the beer in it and then let it rise for a few hours. Like, right, so in other words, you've got to have something with yeast in it to cause leavening to make it rise. It's like, it's like, so why don't you just
it's all in the whisking. You get plenty of air into it, Hobbit.
But if you whisk fizzy beer too much or fizzy water too much, you'd whisk out all the carbonation.
Yeah, that's why it's just egg and flour, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, I'm all for using beer in crepes because, I mean, I've had it that way before. But they use Trappist ale because it's got live yeast in it. And, it gives it a beery taste, which I like. Yeah. But it's just, like, you got to use like actual live yeast, otherwise you're not going to get any leavening, and you're just going to end up with a flat beer batter, and it's just not good.
So what causes a souffle to rise then? Because a souffle is a similar-ish sort of thing, isn't it? That's egg. That's the egg that makes it rise, isn't it?
It's proper alchemy. It is eggs, and you've got to bake it a very precise method, and I can't do it. And you know what? I've got a lot of respect for people who make a souffle, but it don't taste that good. I mean, it's just an egg custard, right?
Yeah, fancy egg custard.
Yeah.
But if you use a real ale, it's still got live yeast in it. Because it's using its own gas to propel it through the pumps.
So does the fat affect? So is the fat for flavour, Hobbit? Then, or does it help with the rising? And also, you need a really hot pan, a really hot dish. Is the other thing you need.
It is flavour. You've got to cook your batter in fat anyway to make it crispy. But I mean, the idea behind Yorkshire puddings and toad in the hole is you make a batter and you use meat fat in it, so it's got a nice meaty taste. If you're using sunflower oil, it's not going to taste good. Don't use seed oils. Use beef dripping. It's cheap. Or if you can't get hold of that, use lard.
No, but then the gravy flavours the stuff. It's not the actual thing. That's all why I've done it.
Yeah, right, okay. But the way I make toad in the hole
have you ever done like a really spot-on Yorkie, Fraser, where it's a little bit burnt, and the burnt bit is all savoury, and the burnt bit is also tastes really nice.
Yeah, of course.
That's from the fat, isn't it?
Do you reckon there's another YouTube channel out there that's gone this in-depth into Yorkshire puddings?
You know what?
Not a paranormal one, Dom. I'll tell you that.
Dom, maybe you and Ian could do a seance.
Could you imagine the paranormies talking about bobble tops or whatever the fuck they call them?
Maybe, Dom, maybe you and Ian, once you've had enough adrenochrome or ganja, can do a seance, raise Charles Fort, communicate with him, and just say, look, what do you think about Yorkshire puddings?
Yeah.
Universe.
Keith Floyd.
Look, I'll just say, raise him as well. Either get Charles Fort or Keith Floyd on the dog and bone, and
I'm gonna look into the alchemical formula of creating a brazen head, so I can ask it how to make Yorkshire pudding properly.
I will.
Come on, demonic spirits, tell me. Is it 2 eggs or 4? You know?
I have more experience. It depends on how many sausages you use it. I have more experience making
because I followed a recipe and I found one of them rose.
I want a tubby toast in the hole.
But the one that didn't rise was the one where I was using 2 small eggs and I should have used 2 large eggs. So I think.
So anyway, toad in the hole. When I've made toad in the hole, I've used beef dripping because that's what we had, but I've also used lard. And the fact of it is, you make your batter, you put your sausages in it.
Oh, you put your sausages in raw, do you?
No, you cook them.
Yeah, lube them.
No, you cook them a bit because you bake. That's what you do, right? You pre-bake your sausages in the oven, so you've got all the sausage fat there, and then you put your Yorkshire pudding batter, which is what toad and hole batter is, to cover the part-baked sausages. Then when the pastry's golden brown, you've got your cooked sausages in the middle, and it absorbs all the sausage fat, so you don't need beef dripping. You've got your sausage fat there, and that's why it's so delicious. It makes meat go a long way, and that's why we do toad in the hole.
Right, one, we're done, and 2, interdimensional lizard as the last word. More like pouflé, am I right?
Soufflé is overrated.
Night all, stay spooky.
Night, everyone.
Oh.